Hello, everybody. This is Marcel from Peacemaker Society, Competent Law Jurisdiction, Government, and Empire. So this video, I am sharing a voice recording given to me by Lorna Cole regarding Robert Ritzman. He is an expert at how to arrest the legal system with the legal system. So how to enter foreign judgments into the courts, have the court clerk stamp it, and literally have judges, attorneys arrested, collapsing the Bar Association charter in Washington and a few other things. So let's go to share screen, share sound. So I'm just going to play this clip for you guys, and then we are going to go ahead as well and just play some photos so you guys have some things to watch. So let's close that. Which one do we want? This is the one we want. It's a few hours long, you guys, so I hope you enjoy it. I will get this started. 2 hours and 16 minutes. Smartest stuff you're ever going to hear on the planet is right here. What I teach, I actually consult this guy, but just so you guys know.
Give me the assumed name, and I'd also give it to the State Department. I'm going to use your company for business. Yeah, let's have some fun. That's what I say. There's some criminals out here.
I like that.
So you know what criminal means? It means a titled name.
Well, it is a titled name, isn't it? Criminal.
Yeah, you can't have a criminal case on a Mexican or a Canadian. You have to have a U.S. citizen. A titled name. So, one of the guys I helped out, me and Michael Hollinger, 2 years ago, I did all the documents, filed them out. He's a national, the name was a national now. And last year he got 4 DUIs, driving suspended license, and he did a lot of damage last year. But all the cases are criminally deficient.
Because he's not a U.S. citizen, he's a nationalist.
Well, he's or the name is a national. He's just a man.
Yes.
So so right now the attorneys don't know what to do. He's bonded and he's got the assumed name all done. You know, he's got the status changed. So they're just asking him to go along with it. Sure, I'll go along with it, not a problem. I need a defense attorney. I need someone to pay the debt. I need a defense attorney. You got somebody in the office you don't like, throw them under the bus, bring them out here. So what I had Buck do last year, February, he took the driver's license and he put the address of the Department of Assigned Counsel on the address of the driver's license. And then he qualified the name as the administrator. And so now all the court correspondence goes to the Department of Assigned Counsel. So the judge was laughing and said, "What are you going to do now?" And the attorney said, I'd like to excuse myself." He said, "Nope. Job site occupancy and occupational hazard." So evidently somebody in his office didn't like him. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm just cutting up all that. I'm telling some really good jokes to myself.
These are all brilliant moves that are just excellent.
They have all the liability.
You have, yes.
It's like, this is what we're supposed to do.
You put it all on them, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very good.
My name's not on nothing, I know that. How about you? You got something with your name on it?
Not me.
Our name's not on nothing in this corporate world. It
No.
can't be. It's impossible.
All part of the corporation.
Unless you're an attorney, you can't even be a grantor. It's a fact. That's why I told the state of Washington, you have all the liability, and I know it. You're shocked with me. I told their attorneys that. They were going, "Oh my God, you're right." Yeah. I got no liability whatsoever. None. Funny stuff, huh?
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant, yeah.
So, how are you still alive?
They can't murder a man. So I told you 4 years ago I went to Secretary of State and I asked them to authenticate the law of murder of a man. They shut the office down. They didn't know what to do. About 20 minutes later, they came back and they go, we can't authenticate that law. Oh, thank God a corporation can't murder a man. I'm so glad. Yeah, they can't do anything de jure. Nothing common law. They can't.
Right.
So they can't even do an execution. They can't do it. It's impossible. Totally impossible.
That's why they say everything that you encounter in these courts and their jails has all been voluntary.
You notice Donald Trump in December, he brought back federal executions and he executed 3 people real quick. 2 men and a woman.
Yep, they did. I saw that.
Symbology. Real government's back.
Oh.
Well, it's been some time, but I have a sister that played executor over my mother's estate and stole the estate. This was way
Let me
back.
ask you this. Was there any cars involved?
Yes.
Okay, who owned the cars?
My mother had them in the estate. So the estate owned the cars. I was a prosecutor.
Prosecutor. So your sister stole the prosecutor's car. Now you go in as a benefactor claiming that you need an audit and the prosecutor's responsible for the cars. Your sister go to jail.
I would actually like that.
I've done that 4 times now.
I was going to say.
I would like to do that very much because she stole a lot of
Okay,
money.
ask Lorna. That's what she asked me to help with. Her father up in Snohomish,
I'm familiar with that,
her-
and I've helped her with that.
the ex-wife, came back and had a purported will.
That's right.
So that's what I told her is go to Department of Licensing, get all the information on the cars your father had, and then have the prosecutor verify that they were sold and the money went back into the trust. And they, so the estate was closed for 2 years. They reopened it.
Well, one thing, if nothing else we've learned, the case never closes.
No.
It's an open escrow.
So I'm telling you, that's what I said is put all the liability on the prosecutor. Now the prosecutor has to go after the culprit.
Now, this happened in 2004, but it wouldn't matter if it happened in 2004.
Okay, the lady down here, she's 74. Her sister is trying to steal her parents' estate in Idaho, and she's not in Idaho, and she's on the will. So I had her to enlist the Secretary of State as the executor, as her representative to the executive. And then I had him notify the prosecutor that there were vehicles involved and they've been sold. So please make sure that everything is comprehensive, that it all goes into the trust. So that put everything back in order. That her sister's not stealing the estate anymore. So now they have the Secretary of State, their responsibility for the executive status. They're just hoping that the family takes it over.
Oh.
So she enlisted her right to have the Secretary of State represent her because she's here. So that put her sister back in line. See how easy this is?
Now, tell me something. Being that this is
That's
a
so
marital community
heartening
estate,
to hear.
should we add her husband to it as well? Because he participated? I just don't know whether his name is on any of it.
If there's, it's not so much the people, but yeah, if there's a title of a man, a title of a woman, and they're combined to join the corporation, that and still the liability of the prosecutor. Now, the state is under the Social Security Trust, and that's what the Secretary of State, they have to make sure that trust doesn't get violated. That's this balancing act that I show people. But when you do a treasury bond on your parents, you joined your parents' estate to your trust. Now you have a lot of power. Funny stuff, huh?
It's way over my head, but I'd like to learn it.
Well, I'm laughing my ass off when I figured it out.
Beautiful.
That's how I know I could destroy any and all attorneys right now. They'll all be gone. And what are the people going to do? They can't get divorced. They can't get their auto accident taken care of. The DUI will go away. No attorney.
Well, in my father's estate, which is a separate estate, right now we're still going through that. I have a long list of attorneys that have taken a large sum of money out of the estate. And I would love to be able to shut them down and get all the money back.
Yeah, see, those are all done by private contract, depending if they got a breach of contract. But we don't have a bar association to do the breach of contract right now. So now we're gonna have to go to the federal claims court to do that. So, you know, right now, the whole key of it is getting things bonded by treasury bond. That's the key. Yeah, so just getting a good audit of what's going on to figure out what happened. You know, and then looking at the contract with the attorneys and see if everything is done correctly. The attorneys have to, you know, they have to account for every minute, and they usually do.
Oh, they are. But they're not giving full disclosure of what it is that they've taken.
They don't have to till it's over with.
That's probably why they haven't.
Yeah, so who's the executive?
Well, right now, and the two different estates were separate. So my mother's estate, which was completed back around 04 to 06, was my sister was the executor. And this one here, there is no executor on my father's estate. There is a trustee.
Yeah, there is, the Secretary of State.
Okay, that would be the Secretary of State then. So
Right.
at this one here, you know, because she left it with higher trustees, which were attorneys, and they.
Your parent did a power of attorney to a attorney.
My father and my stepmother did hired a trustee service down in Newport Beach, and had them operate all the trust, and you know through the estate, through administering. There's more than 40 people in the estate that they're dispersing monies to. Problem is that the biggest amount has been going to the attorneys, regarding items and all the rest of it. And every time that I've called this trustee, it's at least $1,000 bill every time I talk to them.
Yep.
Because they're paying themselves $400 an hour, they're paying their attorney $600 an hour, and minimum an hour. So they charge me minimum $1,000 every time I
How
talk
much
to
is
them.
in the estate?
There was about $3 million in that estate, and that was a small one. And they're
40
taking
people, that's not a lot left, is it?
not a lot, so we're not getting a whole lot. I'm about 8% of it, according to what my father and stepmother did.
Yeah, what I would do is, like I said, get that treasury direct account set up, so the estate that's going right now, that's your father or mother?
They both passed away.
Well, which one's being settled right now?
Right now, my father's estate is being settled. It's a small estate.
Do you have his social security number?
Did he?
No, do you have his social
Yeah.
security number?
I don't know if I have his or not. I've got mine. But
You need his. What's gonna happen is you're gonna bond your account, and then you're gonna gift your father a bond, which will join your father's account to your account. And then you're gonna notify the Secretary of State of Oregon that these two trusts are joined, and you're the benefactor, and you're gonna give them evidence of how they're joined, and that you're gonna enlist their services as an auditor.
all right. So the big question there, and again, I'll have to write this down, but the big question there will be when I go to gift it, who do I send it to because
You don't
he's
send
passed
anybody.
away?
You just have it, no, they didn't pass away. No, the account is still open.
That account is still open.
Okay, so, yeah, what's happening, so what's happening is you're just joining two trusts through the bonding system. Now you have value to the paper.
Okay.
And then now, as I said, but the Secretary of State is the one that you're gonna enlist to help you with the audit.
Okay. All right. Secretary of State it is. And a lot of the services in California are being shut down, where they're just closing the doors.
They're not gonna shut down, okay, the Social Security Administration is gonna close August 2027. So everything has to be done by August 2027. So whatever business isn't done, the state has till 2027 to get it done. Okay, so right now, licensing, Department of Licensing or for business license stuff, they're not giving them out no more. You know, so there's no government, there's no corporation, but they still got to close the accounts out, the reset, and they have 7 years to close everything out. So that was done. The United States came out of bankruptcy July 7th, 2020, and then the Social Security Administration shut down and reset for the 7-year period. That was August 2021 or August 2020. So there's 7 years to close all these trusts out, and that's what I'm telling people. You know, get this information in and claim the family inheritance. If you have to contact, get all this stuff bonded. You know, and you got to be back on the land to claim it. can't be a paid actor. Funny shit what I'm doing. Huh?
I love what you're doing. I need your help with it. And
Yeah, what happens is I didn't even have to study that. I just once I learned enough about codes and stuff and how this hierarchy works, you know, everything's based off of trust, and then from there we go into titles. So that's what they basically did is they collateralized man and property, but they put it into trust. And now we got these foreign agents that have created these artificial titles of parcel and birth certificate and registered cars, registration of cars and boats, airplanes, and that's what they've done for the bankruptcy. So for them to register a boat, car, can't do it right now. They're not a creditor, so they can't keep taking money because there's no account to put it in. They're stealing if they do. So any taxes that they've collected from August 2020, they can't do it. It's over, done. So right now the people have to come together. The fire departments and police stations and the schools, if they're going to stay open, the people have to fund it themselves. They have somehow somebody's going to have to come together and say, okay, we're going to pay for public schools, we're going to pay for public fire department, public police. That's why everything's being defunded. They're asking the people to come back, but they're not, like, you have to or you're not going to have it. So hire your private police force, your private fire department, or your private schools, because the public is over it. Public is corporation, it's over it. Like, these people down here don't understand a goddamn thing. We're going to keep government going. We're going to petition. We're going to do bills. We're going to get the voters together.
nobody sees this coming, so it's not going to happen.
I'm laughing my ass off.
Yeah, no, but
You want a line? Wow! Right from a code enforcer. Look at that, buddy. I got powder line nose. That's where I'll be.
yeah.
Like, hey, look at that. Expired registration. Son of a bitch, that old system.
It's true.
What, no mailbox? Well, United States Postal Service. Who do you have contract with? Me or the United States? Oh, the United States is gone, and you don't have contract with me. No box. Oh my God, the receptacle. You know what receptacle means, right?
No, tell me what receptacle means.
Garbage can.
Oh, yeah.
Funny shit, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is just hilarious.
So tell me something. Will that same process work with an automobile and through the prosecutor, and this would be through California now? Would it, same thing work with antique automobiles?
Depends on how the registration is. Look at the name of the registration. Because they're not asking for a registration fee for, for commerce. Okay, it's no longer doing commerce. It's just for historical value. Okay, it's like a historical building. They don't pay taxes on historical buildings because there weren't taxes back then. So how can you tax it today if it wasn't taxed when it was built? When did that happen? The creation was non-taxable. So the cars were non-taxable in 1926. Model T's. Like, what the fuck are you taxing them for now? That's why they got the historical tags on them.
Some of these are quite a bit older than that. My mother had about a half a dozen antique automobiles.
So
And my sister took them and liquidated them and collected the cash for them.
yeah, you have to find out if they were registered and the name on the registration. If they were a split title name, if it's your father's last name, comma, first middle, then the prosecutor is responsible for the audit of those cars.
They may very well be my mother's name. I don't know. And I have no way of finding out what that is.
Well, then what you do is you take your mother's birth certificate name and your father's birth certificate name, and you do a request. Here we call it the RCW 42.56. Information request. But anyway, that's what you're going to do with the state level Department of Licensing, and you're going to find out all automobiles owned by that name, that address, and then. Once you get all the list of automobiles, and that's what Lorna had to do, she had to get a list of the cars. And then you go to the prosecutor and you go, I want to know what happened to the legal title, because the equitable title is in question right now within a state. You don't know exactly what you're saying, like, holy shit. Are you an attorney? No, I'm not an attorney. I'm not oath to protect you.
Okay. The chances are they are indeed, and I don't know that having, that many more cars, old or new, would make a difference. But she did get the Lexus, and
This is the thing about it, okay? This is notorious with death. Okay, mom dies, and the daughters race to the house to steal mom's jewelry.
yes.
So then one daughter didn't get the jewelry, so she takes the other daughter to court. And the court says you can't steal from the family, it all belongs to the family. What? Yeah, because the jewelry isn't registered, the prosecutor can't help you. And because it's all family property, you're not stealing from yourself. Well, she got it and I didn't. Well, it's still in the family. Still family property. So the car is different. A boat, anything registered that doesn't belong to the family, the legal title belongs to the prosecutor. That's why I put them on the spot.
Perfect.
Now, because the car or the boat, anything registered, if it was bought with a credit card or a bank account, okay, John H. Doe, Social Security number at the bank, that's in the trust for the United States. Now it's a trust issue. So the equitable title in the trust that the prosecutor has converted to registration to a legal title, he's responsible. It gets reversed back to the trust. And then the benefactors of the trust, that's where they take their life. That's the reversal of it. You get it?
Yeah, I think so.
Badass, isn't it?
We'll listen to that again. But yes,
That's why I'm getting all these old estates opened back up again. He's audited.
yeah.
Sorry, prosecutor, your cars were stolen from the trust, and they're aiding and abetting. You're aiding and abetting it. So now that you're getting notice, you got 30 days to get on it, or you're a part of the crime. Badass, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
You an attorney? No, I'm a lawyer. Happened at 18.
About the quickest and easiest way for me to get a license plate is to drive over to her house while she's there and write the license plate down of the Lexus.
If you can do that, then take a photograph of it is the best way.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest if I can do that.
And the other thing is the public request to the Department of License for the information, because it is an estate and you're a benefactor, you have to tie it all together, blah, blah, blah. And the cars were bought through a checking account, blah, blah, blah. And they were registered under the split title name, blah, blah, blah. And the Secretary of State will go, "Are you an attorney?" Prosecutor
I'll
is.
send you over there and have you take a picture of my sister's Lexus.
Where is she?
Shelton.
Oh, or Anne when she gets back.
You kind of get, this is our remedy, this is our protection. But nobody knows it. But no attorney will tell you. They'll say, "This is a bag of cats and this is going to cost you $40,000. We always hear that. It always starts out at $40,000. Why?
4 has something to do with,
How do you do 4 in Roman numerals?
you do 1V.
Four
IV.
eyes.
IV.
Right.
IV.
Okay, so what does I mean?
I mean is me,
Man.
man.
And what's 5? How you doing?
It's
Let's
a
have a contract.
Or high five.
That's the contract with the man. That's what 4 is so freaking powerful. IV.
Oh.
Oh,
That's the symbology of 4. IV.
I is man, and this is the contract with the man.
Right. IV. Yeah.
IV. Well, I thought IV was intravenous, like they were sucking your blood out or something.
That's a different society. That's a pharmaceutical society.
Yeah.
No, so like all the numbers, that's why all these contracts, jurisdiction over contract is 5 years. 6 years. 6 years is the executive status. We always bury the dead at 6 feet, and then the contract closes at 7 feet. Okay. So in Europe, they always do. They bury the man at 6 feet, and then they put a 1-foot mound and close the account, and then they put a 2-foot fence around it to protect the family's property. All graves in Europe have a 2-foot fence around it.
Oh, wow.
But we don't do that here. Here, they're at 6 feet, and they have a marker for commerce. It's called advertising. And the attorneys keep going back year after year after year after year because they never close the account out. So that's why all voters are actually the tombstone. And the original tombstone is the birth certificate, and then the retirement is the second.
or the box outside of everybody's house is a tombstone.
So my
Commercial
Because it's for the
advertising.
dead.
Have you ever Googled a legal definition of tombstone? It's commercial advertising. So that's how Arizona became a state. It was owned by the Corporation of Spain, and in order to get it away from a corporation, we had to have dead voters. So that's where Tombstone in Arizona and all the gunfights were promoted. They needed 60,000 people dead so they could have some voters that voted into the territory. So they did. So once they had enough dead folk in Arizona to vote, then we voted it into the United States Corporation in 1879. And became a state 1889. From territory to state. So in 1889, 17 states came into statehood? 17.
Magic number.
Well, if you go to the highway, all highway signs of the highway are at 17 feet. So you're driving under a 17-foot tall sign. So, and 12 miles is the international law of jurisdiction, and 5 is the contract. Admiralty law. The tombstone's in all caps. Admiralty law. Incorporations are Admiralty law, and that's why it was New Spain, which is Admiralty law. New England is Admiralty law. New France is Admiralty law. So when they executed King James XVII and Queen Antoinette in 1793, 10 years later, say 1883, Kingdom went into a corporation called New Spain. So England had a kingdom, but they wanted to have another one, so they did an incorporation on North America called New England. New being the incorporation. Same with that's what Spain did. They did New Spain on the Caribbeans and Mexico. New Spain, the incorporation. So if you read the oldest treaty of America, Guadalupe Hidalgo, you'll read in the second paragraph, when the United States and incorporation went down to Mexico City in 1846 and captured it, we flew our U.S. flag for 3 years. It was a war of incorporation. And it's in the damn treaty, and nobody reads it. In the United States Constitution, it shows on the very first, the first 10 pages, that America was set up as an incorporation of plantation. And why? It's in our Constitution. What's wrong with people? Nobody reads it. I read it. Like, there it is right there.
No, they read the first 10.
We didn't take the Indians' land. We just incorporated it. But we did. They can have it back as soon as they learn some truth. But if they have a missionary wearing black and a little black hat, and gets a black book, and teach them English and teach them law, and got a new religion now, they have no sovereignty. They're lost. That's all. I told the elders 4 or 5 years ago that, and they were going, that can't be true. So they asked their attorney, which is the Yakima tribal attorney, and they said, yes, that is true. What? They fired him. They fired the Yakima attorney. They were in confusion for a year. Now they're saying, they just told me a year ago, Robert, we like the incorporation. We have political power, we have nice homes, we have our businesses, but we give our people $40,000 every quarter. We like it. Good. At least I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the corporation. At least you understand it. Now you were telling me you were sovereign. You're not sovereign. You're not sovereign. So you can go back to it if you want to, but right now, today, the tribes are state of Indian nation. So what does "of" mean?
It's part of the corporation.
"Of" means without. So state of Washington, state of Oregon, state of California.
It's a state without Washington.
Yeah, so what do we have? We have 50 states. That's all we have, 50 states. There's nothing else after
It's
it.
a state of mind.
So no, what I'm saying is a state. So we are the United States. We have 50 states.
Yes.
It's not about Washington, Oregon, California. It's 50 states. There is no
okay.
identifying mark to it.
Okay.
Now, "for" means noun. Okay, so if we had state for Washington, that means now we have a government that has a noun of Washington, a location. That's why the original was United States for America. They took that out. Now it's United States of America. So we have no America, we're just United States. 50 of them that have no location. They're all from corporations. It says it right. They're telling us.
Gosh.
Nobody knows English.
Yeah, it's true. Not even the English teacher.
It's like the. The means one. So we have dog, it means singular, one dog. Dogs means many, more than one. Okay, now you put the in front of dogs, the dogs, it means one dog. Because the just turned it into singular. So we have we, the people. So it means one man.
The one who signed it.
So the Declaration of Independence was for one man.
The one who signed it.
Yeah. No, they just agreed to that one man controlled it, King of England. It was all a lie. You see, the Declaration of Independence came out on the afternoon of July 4th. What those founders didn't know was that morning of July 4th, we were in an international bankruptcy and all contracts were suspended. Didn't exist.
Kind of like where we're at now.
No, all contracts, we're not in bankruptcy, so we're allowed to contract now. So we can be common law.
But there's no commerce. But isn't contracting commerce?
Yeah, we can contract all we want to. So if Walmart wants to buy from companies in China, they can do that
can.
privately.
Okay.
Okay, there's no more. Okay, does Walmart have to license the state of Washington? No, the state of Washington doesn't exist. So that's what I've been telling people right now. Is if you look at Boeing, Microsoft, Amazon, they have over 100 employees. They are a state. And that's why they're attacking Jeff Bezos right now, because he knows this. That's why he left the Northwest and he went to Texas, because he's going to start his own citizens. When you're an employee, you're a citizen. You know, so that's what's happening right now. They have a lot of power, just as the United States had Boeing, Microsoft, and Amazon. They have a lot of employees. They have a lot of power because there is no United States. There is no state of Washington. So their policy is the same thing as an RCW code. Same thing. So it's funny.
So that's why when you go into these grocery stores and you're not wearing a mask and they tell you to leave, you just need to go ahead and leave because it's their policy.
Yeah, when you do a phone contract, it says you're an employee of the phone of AT&T or Verizon, and it's their phone. That's the contract you signed. That's why you have no privacy with their phone, because you're their employee. Oh my, I don't give a shit. Sure. Great. Can you show me the name of that employee? You're a corporation, are you not? Yeah, can you pass law? No. Great, we have an understanding now. So who are you? Well, we're an artificial corporation. Thank you. You have a court? No. You have no jurisdiction. And right now, you're not licensed in the state of Washington, so you can't use their courts. I can't use their courts. Joke. Freaking joke. You understand that, don't you?
So when I'm riding down the highway and I see cop pulled over a car, clearly giving them a ticket, I mean, it just doesn't compute because I thought that all of that has ceased for a while.
No, I can put lights on my car, and if you want to pull over voluntarily, you will. It's a consent. So the police officer, he has two lights, a red one and a blue one. Red meaning emergency and blue meaning contract. So I always ask the police officer, first question is there an emergency? And he goes, no. You had your red light on, so you must have contract. Do you have contract?
You mean blue light contract?
That's what it means, yeah. So what's happening is the United Nations runs civil registration. They own the birth certificate. So that's where they're claiming the contract is. I said, great, you want the registration? Yes, because that's the birth certificate name. Great, so the principal agent is the prosecutor. Write up a big-ass fine. Write up as many as you can. And that's where, if you add the address on the registration to the prosecutor, the address on the driver's license to the defense attorney, then all the agents are going to pay. Heck yeah. There's nothing that says you have to use that. You don't have an address.
Right.
So you can put any address on your one. That's what happened in Alaska 2 years ago. We proved that. I can put any address on your one because I don't own nothing. All I'm doing is just identifying who the agents are. And they're going, shit. Yep. I'm having fun with the post office, the state, the feds. I'm having fun with everybody.
Going back to my estate, my father's estate, he had two cars. He had a newer town car, and then they had an old collector's, I think it was a Buick or something, let's say, or whatever it was. And they kept it in mint condition and drove them both. They were both licensed to them. So the catch is that because there was no executor, the secretary then becomes the executor. If we go after that, if we go after my father's estate for his town car and his Buick, would the trustees be held accountable to that?
Yeah, because what will happen is they probably didn't sell them properly, and convert it back in and put it back into a bank account that had your father's name on it.
So like my sister, we could go after the trustees and hold them accountable to the transfer of those 2 automobiles.
You're going to hold the prosecutor accountable.
Okay, in this case, the prosecutor.
Yeah.
And what kind of a result are we going to get out of that when we hold that prosecutor accountable? But he's not going to like the idea at all.
He's going to go after you to bond everything and bring in the FBI. He's going to be sweating it. He's got 30 days to put everything back in order. And then I would also notify the Secretary of State because they're responsible for all the states.
All right, we have a hearing coming up, which is a final hearing on April 21st.
You got to get that guy in bonding information in, don't you?
I do indeed.
Damn right you do.
Starting Monday.
So yeah, that's what happens now. You're going to make everybody liable. That everything's accountable to the nickel. So this is corporate law, and that's what you have to say is, in corporate law, don't you have to account for every nickel? They said yes. Okay, well let's account for it. Is there a sale of the vehicle? Yes. You have a sales agreement that you know that it was sold. No. Then wait a minute. There has to be because that's title property. Yes, there was a sale. It sold for $1,200. Great. So do you have a deposit slip that it went into the estate? No. It has to. It has to get converted back into the trust, which is the estate. So prosecutor, you're responsible. So get on it. Otherwise, you're aiding and abetting. They stole your property, and it did. First of all, I got converted from the trust to a registration voluntarily, and now you're responsible for it. That's why you can only protect what you own. That's why we give our cars to the prosecutor. When someone steals it, they go out and get it, and give it back to you.
All right, now with my father's estate, unlike with my mother's estate, my sister took the executorship. Can I take the executorship as executor over my father's estate? Because there isn't one?
The ultimate executor is the Secretary of State.
Yes.
Okay, so what made her the executor?
The lack of having one.
There was one. Okay, it was the Secretary of State. So they volunteered for it, and they went into a probate court. They gave the death certificate, and a judge granted it. So if you believe that that the estate is not being handled correctly, and you go in and get the original probate documents, and you go into probate, set a hearing for probate court, and walk in as a benefactor, showing your concerns, that they may not be able to do anything until the 7th year when the dust settles. Okay, they don't have to tell you shit until it settles. All right, and that's what a lot of people get upset with. If the estate is being settled, there's nothing to argue until it's settled. If it's settled, and then said, hey, I don't believe it's done right, there's something wrong, I need an audit, then yeah, if you want to do an audit, you can do an audit and say, listen, here's the registrations to a car. Prosecutor proved to me that the cars were converted back into the trust and they're part of the estate through liquid funds. And they go, okay. So, okay, we see the change of title, it was sold, and they go, okay, executor, show me the sale and how much went back into the account. Yeah, I sold them, but I didn't put the money back in the account.
They'll be able to show they did, they'll be able to show the transfers, they'll be able to show all that.
Yeah, all on paper.
That's right.
In the meantime, if there's a sale, then they could go back in the sale, and whoever bought the car, they say, well, I bought it for $100. Okay, even if it's anything over $250 is a felony. It's a felony theft if it doesn't go back into the trust.
I'm sure both of these were well over that.
Yeah, well, the executors rob the trust all the time,
And that's what they're doing now.
and nobody knows how to bring it to account. So Secretary of State and the prosecutor. The Secretary of State has to make sure the estate is handled correctly. The prosecutor has to make sure all title property gets pulled back into the trust. Funny shit, isn't it?
That is, but I would like to do this, so I'll get on it. I'll work with Lauren on it, because she's already begun that process.
Hopefully she understands what I taught her. I've been trying to teach her this.
Yeah, I know.
It's powerful stuff. And
It
right
is
now,
very powerful.
no attorney can do this for you. None. They've been,
Right.
they're there to take your property away.
Absolutely.
So yeah, this would be a pretty nice little side gig for the next 7 years. Help people with, keeping their family in order. and putting Kim Wyman on notice that she has to keep that position for 7 years until this reset's over.
Now, both of my cases are out of California.
Same thing, yeah.
And one's, I believe, Orange, and one's LA County. But
Yeah, well-
they're both way down south.
The thing about it is, when you understand all this and you put, like, you start claiming the benefactor position with the Social Security, you claim an authorized representative or any agent with the state, and you buy all the bonds, get everything all bonded, and it doesn't go well, this is when I give notice to the FBI of all the documents and the prosecutor, and possibly the Secretary of State. And that's their job, the gray area. They think it's so funny what I know.
That's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Robert, can you get us an attorney to testify against another one? God, I'd love to. I don't think
Probably
so.
not.
They'll die either way. So,
Isn't there some kind of bond when you register with the bar that you can't go against any other?
it's an oath.
Yeah.
It's a death oath.
Oh,
It's a pledge.
just like Skull and Bones, right?
So, yeah, and okay, I sued some attorneys and won. And then into Bar Association in their own court. And then I tried to do a malpractice. I couldn't, because I need an attorney for malpractice. I could not find any attorney. So in 2003, I gave notice to the FBI that I was injured, and I gave all the attorneys I contacted, nobody would do it. So I said, this is a pretty ungoddamn fair system. The people don't have a court. The burglar has their own goddamn court. And anyways, I think that's what happened in 2016, is they made a protected witness out of me that nobody can touch me, nobody can talk to me. I'm protected because I've been harmed so many times and I proved it. They blackballed me, so that means I'm not part of the United States. I'm out of it. They keep coming after me. So how can they come after me if they don't have title, if they don't have contract? They took me out of it. That's why I asked the FBI. And they're going, you're right. They can't, but they are. That's why they all went to jail.
Thank God.
Funny shit, isn't it?
Oh, it is, it is.
But that's why I got to watch people, that if somebody's in dishonor and they're doing domestic terrorism, what does domestic terrorism mean? What's domestic?
It's here at home.
No, it's commerce, okay? It's part of a unit of commerce. So if you have employees of the state of Washington and they are afraid of you because you speak different, that you're a terrorist to the employees. That's domestic terrorism. So when you start doing the sovereign stuff and they cannot recognize anything de jure, that terrifies them. You're a domestic terrorist when you start submitting de jure documents in a de facto system. You're now recognized as a domestic terrorist.
Okay.
So until you walk in and say, what's your private policy, I'm not public, like what I do, then they go, oh, you go around, we don't do any of this, we don't check ID, we don't put you through the metal detector, you just go. That's what they do with me. That they do at the federal courts, they always, I'm in private policy. But I don't terrorize them with de jure shit.
Okay.
It's funny when you understand. I mean, the words say it all. I just had to dissect all the words.
So what I'm understanding you say is that whole court situation I went through in 2016, 17, 18, I was deemed a domestic terrorist.
Yep. Because you're terrorizing everybody with what you're saying. I don't consent. Well, wait a minute. You're governed by the consent. So are you not being governed? Sit down. Okay.
You were a combatant.
Belligerent.
Yeah,
Okay.
not a terrorist, but a enemy combatant.
I mean, you had the prosecutor when he said, show me the contract.
I know.
They don't have a contract.
I know.
Well, then what am I doing here? Doug Smith sat there. He's waiting, and you didn't know what to say.
After that, I mean, I was so stunned when she said, what does she mean? I don't have a contract.
That's right. You
And
said,
she
Your
was-
Honor, I motion to dismiss on lack of subject matter jurisdiction.
Yep.
That's what he was waiting to hear.
And the reason I didn't say that is because I had done that already, but at the wrong time. And it was on paper, not out of my mouth, I guess. Because I had said I challenged the subject matter jurisdiction from the beginning, a year and a half before
Because
you
never
guys.
get the evidence they didn't have a contract. So here you have a plaintiff claiming there's no contract, and you didn't do motion for dismissal, lack of subject matter jurisdiction. I don't know. I said, we do the best we can, and that's all we're doing, the best we can. If I'm not here to say, this is where you made a mistake, you'll probably never figure it out.
Right,
But when you did that, I had to leave the room. So I got up and left.
because,
Because you didn't know what you're doing.
okay.
I'm there as a witness. That's why Doug Smith was so freaked out that I was there. I'm a legitimate witness.
So if I had known what I was doing, you would have been a witness to it, and he would have had to
If you
follow
would have
through.
said, Your Honor,
Motion to dismiss
lack
for
of
lack of subject matter
jurisdiction.
jurisdiction, yeah.
And he said, no, I'm a witness to a crime.
Got it.
But
Okay.
that didn't happen.
Nope.
So I had to leave.
That close, though. That fucking close.
I've
Telling
been
you.
that close to many times.
And
too.
then, but then after that, it just all went downhill because they knew that I didn't know as much. And he even said, "Oh, you're not as smart as you think you are." He said that to me. But you know what? He's not there anymore. He retired after me.
Yeah, he was freaked out that he might have lost his retirement with me.
I know.
But I'm just there like he's there to make sure everything's in order. Okay, and I just put things in order. So watching, nope, gotta go. No, I'm not gonna be a witness anymore. It's like I've been in federal court and the Treasury shows up, okay? The Treasury's on the hook to pay the debt of any U.S. citizen, right? When the U.S. citizen says the creditor is right there, the United States Treasury, the Treasury takes out their checkbook in federal court and writes a check. But when the judge says, you have 14th Amendment constitutional rights, and you don't rebut that, the Treasury gets up and walks out. I've seen it. Yes. Because you decided to be the taxpayer. But when you rebut that, Your Honor, my rights are held by my creator, which ain't you, which ain't a corporation. Your Honor, the Treasury's in the room. They are the debtor to the creditor of America. They're the accountant. So come on up here, get your checkbook, and write the foreign agents a check. You're done. It's that easy. It's that easy. Just putting things in order.
Yeah.
You get it?
I do. And, when I got to that courthouse that day, it was a zoo. You were there, James was there, Jim Burrows was
invited us
there. Here's the thing.
That's the only reason we're there.
I know. Actually,
Long drive up there, 3.5, 4 hours.
I
back
didn't
back.
know you guys were coming until the morning of. And Jean is the one who let me know. Rob is coming, and James had something to do with it. And so I said, okay. And I had gone down to I don't know why I went down
Did you hear
to
about that day they shut the courthouse down for 3
No,
hours?
he hasn't heard.
You told me about it, but I had not known about it.
They were freaked out.
I bet they were.
Yeah, the judge went out to the parking lot and got a folder out, came back into the court hallway and going through photographs and finds ones of me. Then he points at me, points at the photograph. He walks over to the security and the deputies and said, treat him with the utmost respect.
Really?
Yep,
I didn't hear that
yep.
about
And
the
this
chief.
was up in
Yeah, Shoreline. And yeah, same judge that, 8 years previously took me through that bogus
Well,
suspension.
I went and told the office, I'm going to video record and I'm going to voice record, so tell the judge. Because you can't do it without his permission. I said, no, I'm just giving notice. I'm telling you right now. I'm going to be recording. So I said, are you arguing with me? So she came out from behind the window and she started talking to me. And I said, listen, are you a clerk or an employee? She goes, I'm an employee. I said, do you have a clerk here today? And she said, no. I said, don't let me see you put anybody in jail today. All of you will go to jail. If you put anybody in jail today while I'm here, you're all going to go to jail. So she took off and ran back into the office. So went into the courtroom. We set up the camera.
I wasn't there.
And then I got surrounded by deputies and staff, but they weren't angry. They were going, the judge wants to talk to you in chambers.
Oh, I was there by this time.
So I got up and walked across the courtroom to the back door, like I owned the place. And in the back hallway, the entire court staff was in the hallway, scared to death. So I walked by them all and walked by an office, and Doug Smith was in there. So I walked in and said, put my hand out and I yelled, "Hi, how are you? I'm Robert Louis Richmond. How can I help you?" He freaked out. And he's just a little guy. He's probably 4'8" or
Fucker
something.
is what he is. Go ahead.
But he said, "What are you doing here?" So I had a discussion with him, you know, and
What did
anyway.
you say?
Huh?
What did you say in the
It was
discussion?
All right. That's why no one's ever knows what I say. But I did introduce myself in a business manner. Shocked the hell out of him. But anyway, so we got a few things settled, you know, done, and went back into the courtroom. And anyway, then what happened was they stopped all courts, and then anybody with an attorney had to go to another courtroom. So I didn't know I can't go in there without an invitation. So all I could do was stay in her courtroom. So anyway, about 4 o'clock, and so they started her court. There's only 2 people pro se, so they did one, and then they did you. So, but yeah, no, you know, it got real technical. But evidently they got a photograph of me of every fucking courtroom around.
I'm sure that you're in their instruction book. I don't know what the name of it is, but they have an instruction book to prosecutors throughout the state of Washington. And I'm sure you've made that many times.
Yeah, they're trying to catch me in dishonor. They're trying to catch me in interloping into another case that I haven't been invited into. So Doug Hyatt is an attorney that any time that I'm around something that I haven't been invited to, he's always there watching me. So that, you know, they've changed out attorneys. He's, you know, when they think I'm going to interlope into a case, he gets put onto the defendant's case. That's happened like 7, 8 times now.
In Pierce or Thurston?
Lewis County, Pierce County, Thurston County, yeah.
And they bring him from wherever and put him
Seattle.
on it?
He's a Seattle attorney.
Huh.
Because I put his partner in jail for a year. So I got to be real careful, real careful.
So he's looking for a reason to take you down.
Yeah, looking for, you know, interloping. I can only go on an invitation.
Well, I was grateful that you were there. I was glad that they
Well, I said,
finagled you into coming.
I look at this hieroglyphic, you know, it says it all. You have a pharaoh, and there's a scale, okay, and there's a feather and a heart. And the heart's lower, so it shows heavier. And then there's a slave kneeling to the pharaoh. And what it means is because the heart is heavier than the feather, you are the slave. The remedy is when the feather is heavier than the heart, you are free of being a slave.
So, but what does that mean when the?
It's a riddle. It's a rhyme. Yeah, I figured it only took me 1 second. I was laughing my ass off. That hieroglyphic is 14,000 years old, and the remedy is still here today. Canons 228 is the remedy. It's the same damn thing. It's the remedy right there. So in all law, there's a remedy for man. And in the title, it's Title 18, Section 4001. There must be, the Congress must initiate a law to put a man in jail for a code. Okay?
There's not. There's not a law.
But they don't put men in jail.
Right.
They put me in jail and they made a big mistake. So, what are they contracting with then? If you're speaking babble, if you don't know truth, yeah, you're gonna go to jail. That's why I spent so much time looking at all the signs, you know, speed limit, kilometers, you know, pounds and kilograms. You have, how do they get a wagon across the prairie?
With wheels.
Right. Why'd they put a tire on your vessel when tire means dead?
Because they.
Didn't I tell you I went into Thurston County Court, Brett Buckley, and I said, you know, I'm driving across the trails that you put your blacktop over, but I still own the trails. My horseless carriage is rated at 160 horsepower from the manufacturer. Unless you got a cattle drover that'll testify that I'm a cattle driver, you don't have a case today. And he put his head down. He was dismissed. So I said, can I get an order of that dismissal? And he said, no, because it never happened. That's all I did. I put everything back on the land. I've done so much. Raise your right hand and swear in. I can't raise my hand. I already gave my oath to my creator, and it ain't you. I did that to a judge in Tacoma. I don't know.
Like I said,
So,
they're bored until you
the next
walk
judge,
in.
raise your right. These are all parking citations that I don't pay. Raise your right hand. I said, okay. Why'd you put your palm in? Because I'm armed. You have a weapon? Yeah, my mouth. You ready? The judge is going. And he goes, you didn't pay for parking. I said, please spell you. I think you mean bah, or you have a corporate you. I don't understand what you're saying by you. So, judge, please write down the word you. I can't contract unless I know what word you're saying. He looked at me, didn't know what to say. So he held up a piece of paper and had a photograph of my van. And he goes, is this your van? And I go, no, you fucking crazy? That's a piece of paper. Shocked him. And he goes, does this resemble your van? And I said, can I see that? And he goes, yes. I walked up, got it, and I looked at it. I said, Your Honor, this resembles stationery paper, 8.5 by 11, 24 pound. And it has some ink on it. That's what it resembles. Now, I don't mean to be rude, but if you want to see my goddamn van, walk through the window, look down. It's right down there on the street. That is the van. Okay, we're done here. Because he wants me to recognize the license plate, the letter, that the registration is expired. It can't move in commerce. I don't need that shit. My van moves just fine with expired license plate, Your Honor.
That's kind of what I said too, when all this
I gotta ask you, Your Honor, you don't own the road. The business owns the road out to the center. Do you have a contract with that business to use his property for profit? It's called usufruct. Do you have that? Okay. And do you have a contract with the legal title owner, the prosecutor? Where do I come involved? I'm just here representing Mr. Dodge.
Mr. Dodge.
That's what I told him.
That's exactly right, though. You're exactly right. 'Cause it's
Mr. Dodge got the citation, and the principal agent is the prosecutor. Sounds like we got this all figured out. You get it?
Oh, yeah, it's very good.
So that's what I tell him. It's like, I know what. U-E-W-E, K-N-O-W, or N-O. I don't get all caps, lowercase, Latin, dead Latin. I can't contract verbally, Your Honor. I don't understand the word you say. I speak no legal, hear no legal, and see no legal. I love doing that. All I speak is American English. You want to bring an interpreter in? Good. I think they're called agents and bar members. But I'm not a member of your society. But I said I just have lots of fun. Your Honor, will you allow me to speak today? No, we won't recognize you. Do I got a mask on or something? Anyway, you see how funny this is when you start getting it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I always come out, start putting shit on the table, some stamps, some coins and stuff. Like, what are you doing? I brought consideration to the table. What is the plaintiff got? Oh, where's the plaintiff? Is this ex parte? That's what I brought to the table. There ain't nobody else bringing anything else to the table. Who the hell are you? Are you representing a corporation called Tacoma? Yeah. Is that law or is that policy? Is that for employees or is that for employees? Great. I guess I need to go. Can we do I need a continuum. I'm gonna go to Human Relations and get an employment record for that name, see what they've been paid, whether the taxes can be paid. I'll give you a 1099. Not a problem. That's when it gets real dangerous when you start saying you're gonna get a 1099 on that name and you're gonna get you're going to get an EIN number on that name.
Yep.
Hey, not a problem. We'll just join this to the IRS.
See, I've scared some judges that way, but I didn't know what I was doing. I do now.
See, you're not contracting properly. You're
Yeah.
using somebody else's business. So did you ask the grantor for his EIN on that birth certificate?
I did, not on the birth certificate.
That's where you're freaking them out by the EIN. If you attach it to a birth certificate, if you got the EIN of State of Washington courts and attach it to your birth certificate for business, you're done.
So how do you do that?
You write it on the birth certificate, doing business as, put your lawful name on there, do the endorsement on the front, and do the endorsement with no co-signer on the back. Now it's a check for business, ready to go.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, we got the endorsement on the front, but you know, the same on the front, but we did not endorse the back of it.
Okay, you endorse the front, you endorse the back. IN on the front, EN on the back.
So,
Like a check. So what happens when you sign the front of a check? It's called an endorsement. And what happens when you, or IN, when you sign it on the back? It's an
EN.
endorsement. So you can make your own check with your birth certificate. Hell yeah. That's value. Send this one to Washington, D.C. for payment. Which place?
That's what we always
Actually, it
heard.
goes to New York. It goes to the Federal Bank of New York. Why New York? Because it's an offshore. It's not part of the United States. It's a financial capital of the world. And that's why all bid bonds go to New York. All payment bonds go to London. All performance bonds go to Brussels. What's in Brussels? The International Crimes Court. Oh my goodness, international commerce. That's why I always do an apostille on the birth certificate. Here, stamp here, auditor. Well, we don't record birth certificates. Are they not corpus? Well, yeah. Then great. Let me get your stamp and autograph on here. Okay, that's how I got it. I started getting the birth certificates recorded at the auditor. I had to show them the bankruptcy laws that property is called corpus in bankruptcy. So I said, gosh, isn't this named in bankruptcy? Oh yeah. Yeah, it's corpus too. You're right, it is. And I took it to Judge Eric Price at County of Thurston Superior Court. And I go, this is going to go to another venue, so I need an exemplified copy. And the clerk called me up 2 weeks later and said, the judge doesn't want to do that. And so I know, he loses title. He can't do nothing about it. So he gave me an exemplified copy of a recorded piece of property, then from the auditor, and from there it's a financial instrument. Now we take it down and have it apostille for international commerce. Boom, you're just like Rothschild.
have you completed anything to
I'm
that?
not doing any of that crap, but that's how it works. But now you understand it, don't you?
Yeah. Now I can see why what I did didn't work.
Plus you're scaring the shit out of them. You're so close.
Yeah.
You're so close.
You're not as smart as you think you are.
Me, to me, it's like, that's what Nathan Rothschild, somebody said, how do you open up your banks? He goes, with my birth certificate. I was like, wow, I know how he did it.
I mean, we've heard that forever, that it's worth
That's how he
so
does it.
much, but we didn't know how to convert it.
Yeah, you register it internationally, and that's how you get it registered with La Hague. That's why they have to have the La Hague for international commerce. They tell you. So they have a clerk there, so send the stuff in and have it filed with civil miscellaneous, and now you got an address for international commerce. But now you can't harm man. But you can't do commerce with corporations. So send them a charter. Charter goes into it. A constitution goes into it, and then now you got your international corporation that can sail the seas. Simple, huh?
It really is.
And that's what happened with me. I just see everything now. I just done so much code research, reading codes. Now I just see everything, how it all works.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it, they say.
Well, no, it doesn't matter what it is. I read it different than you do.
Yeah.
See that Pepsi sign there? See that red, white, and blue? That's a yin and yang.
Yep.
Now if you walk up there and put a dot in the red and a dot in the blue, that now has intelligence. How Mason controls it. Compass. So that's what target symbol is this man that's thinking, and then the circle means a god. And some white. That's target.
Bullseye.
It's hilarious. So, that's why other Masons they look at like what Microsoft, 4 squares, okay? And that's the Mason, it's a square deal. That's why they're so successful, because they're protected in their society. Symbology. Biden, they took the E and they had 3 horizontal lines.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the new code of the New World Order, 3 horizontal lines.
Yep. I remember reading that, yeah. Decode it all.
Anyway, you liked all this? I mean, is it like that's? I don't know. I mean, I see why nobody in the public says this, but I don't know why. I said I'm going to be. Hopefully, they'll give me remedy, and I'll just go away. I won't talk to nobody else after I get remedy. No reason to.
I mean, right now, you're just exacting revenge.
I'm tearing them down. How would you like all your corporate secrets? Somebody out there going blah blah blah. How do you get them? He sees it. He sees it. Yeah, he's enlightened.
Yeah. Enlightened. Yeah.
This is Lorna, by the way. Let her know I was talking with you.
Oh,
So she put smiles on there.
are you freezing?
No, she's not on the
Oh.
phone. It's
But
just
she's
a text.
happy to know that you guys are together.
I just
It was
told her
like
to
minus
talk.
3 yesterday morning. She called me up.
Yeah.
Warm, it's minus 3. So it was minus 45 the other morning.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't know how they do that there, but it is cool.
And dark.
Well, I guess the summer is, I guess they either love the winter or, whatever reason. So,
Yeah, not me.
but I said she had lots of legal problems earlier in her life, and she's disgruntled. She's hiding in the woods, in an unincorporated, no address, in a dirt, in a home they made out of dirt. They built it against the hillside. They dug down into the hillside,
Hobbit.
Yeah.
and they have just built a barn out of hay bales,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but that's how they're surviving.
Yeah.
And that's how they decided that we're not going to participate. We don't understand the corporate system, so we're going to be outside of it. Me, I understand the corporate system. I don't care. I just don't give a shit.
Did you ever get rights to your water? Weren't you trying to get rights to the water on your property?
No.
I hear that.
I have rights to the water. I have rights to the air, rights to the land.
You have all of that is on.
No, the corporate. No, I don't. No, it's just the city of Yelm was trying to. They're billing me $180 a month for meter rental.
Oh, okay.
There hasn't been any service in 6 years. So that caused a problem last year when I believe what happened. The city of Yelm contacted the postal service to force me to open up the mail because I wouldn't accept it. So what they did is they started returning all my mail. So everybody's telling me all my mail was getting returned to whoever sent it. So people were contacting me like, your mail is being returned back to us. So what do we do? All right. Well, I guess I'll tell you what. Send it to the trustee on the address. So I went out to the mailbox and I put trustee on the mailbox, and then all the mail started coming again.
Oh, wow.
Fixed the problem. Why? Because you cannot block the fiduciary duties of a trustee. So then what the post office did, they contacted the power company and said they wanted to sever the service. So Puget Sound Energy called me up and they said the post office called, they said they want to cut the service to this address. Are they the grantor? And I said no. Okay, then I'll tell you what, email me that and then I'll email you back legal correspondence. So they emailed me that the U.S. Postal Service has contacted them and wanted to cut the service to that address. So I emailed them back that unless the Postal Service is the grantor, if they are the grantor, then they have to refund the beneficiary for 25 years of contracts that there was no that I paid the fee, or the benefactor paid the fee of a grantor, and that can't happen in law. So then I gave them the creator, the given name, and the surname as the benefactor to the power company. So then they emailed me back, we will never turn the power off, even if you don't pay the bill, we won't turn it off.
That's the same with me. That's what's happened with me. It's $35,000 was the last statement of account that came to the house.
So in January, I was busy in January, I was late I was late paying the bill, and they emailed me that the bill hadn't been paid, but don't worry about it, we won't cut your power off. But I went ahead and paid the bill anyway. I said, don't worry about it. I don't mind keeping the inflation down. That's what it is. If I don't pay my bill, then everybody else has to pay more.
Really?
Yes. That's how you get inflation. Costs go up. So anyway, I paid the bill.
Okay.
I mean, I don't mind. So, last month the post office had my bank accounts turned off. So I had to go to Bank of America.
But don't you realize, you said it earlier, whoever issued the letter of credit is responsible for that bill getting paid. So whoever issued the letter of credit on my electric bill is paying it. And I went in back in 2017 because I got a shut-off
So what is
notice.
your ultimate goal at the end of this? At the end of this reset, you're the benefactor and you've been paid, right? Okay. Right now, all my contracts are in good terms. When I'm the benefactor and I'm going to get paid, I'm going to get $9.7 billion from the corporation state of Washington.
Okay, well, I don't know if I've been
That's
paid.
my end goal.
I'm still trying to get a grasp on this whole letter of credit
That's
issued by.
contracting, hardball contracting.
And that would be a reasonable fee,
That's the actual damages for what they did with the 17 felony charges, the seizing of my property, the jail time, being in court 14 months. Yeah, that's the international. They have a schedule of values, and that's what it comes up to. And this is the thing about it, because County of Thurston is a home rule county, all 39 counties have to pay. That's one reason why that's a very dangerous thing for the state of Washington. When one county gets shut down and all counties are liable for the debt until the debt's paid, they shut the whole damn state down. That's why there's a fence around the Capitol. So Lewis County is a charter county. So when I took them, they just shut down Lewis County. So they had 3 commissioners. Now they got 7. They're dead. Okay, the courtrooms had flags. They had the seal. They had swinging gate, name plaques. They don't have any of that now. No swinging gate, no name plaques. No seal, no flag, and the security was run by Lex Mercantile. Now they're run by Fear Guards.
Fear guards.
P-H-E-A-R, Fear Guards. When I went in there last year and I saw that, I was laughing at them. They said, "Robert, you're the only one that reads this stuff."
Wow.
Because, it was 2016 when I walked in there. I said, "Oh, Lex Mercantile. This is like Mercantile law, the law of the docks." We don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, study that. So yeah, that's what you're claiming. That's Admiralty law here. So yeah, you got wrong companies guarding the doors here. You need the Vatican guards here, fuckers. They run Admiralty law. They copyrighted it. So I'm sure they went and said something to somebody, and I'm sure the judges own the security that runs security for the courthouse, and they charge them an immense amount.
Sure.
But anyway, so they started treating me right off the bat different. I walked into their law library and I'm looking around. I found 3 law books, and real law books. I opened them up. I was shown Binneman, real law, how the accused is handled, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the next week, somebody else is asking, so we went in the law library. Those law books were gone. 3 books of law were gone. So then I had Brian Green do an audit, public request on the amount of money the taxpayers are paying for that little law library.
Is that Champion Liberty?
Liberty's champion.
Yeah.
Anyway, so $648,000 were being paid for the upkeep of the library. So who's responsible? Who is the custodian of the library? Judge James Royer. So I guess he's paying. I'm sure the janitor isn't. Okay, I spent 2 minutes vacuuming the carpet in a little closet library, so we're going to charge the judge, $20. I'm sure he's not paying anything for the upkeep of that library. There's no new books in there. All the books are 20 plus years old. So he's been making a paycheck, $650,000 a year for years to be the custodian of the library. This is what I'm asking people to do: is ask some questions. So, the people down in Lewis County, the peaceful streets of Lewis County or whatever, they're lost. They're whiners. Okay, they've been whining for 25, 30 years. Have you studied any political science? No. So how are you going to run the county if they give it back to you? So they give it back to them. They said, "We don't want it. We don't know how to run it." Then quit complaining. Go home. Enjoy your life. Well, that's what happened. They lost a lot of respect. That's what I'm seeing with these people. Like, okay, they give you the county. What are you going to do with it? We're going to hire the people to run it. No. Come on. You're going to make some mistakes. Start running your own county. Fix them as you go along. There's going to be some road bumps, a lot of complaints. So what? Otherwise, never mind. call 911. You see what I'm saying? That's why I'm like, yeah, you guys can't do nothing. Go watch TV. It's more important. Don't worry about your kids and grandkids and your future of your children. It's only going to get worse for them. Now they're forced vaccinating. It's only going to get worse. That's why I don't care. I give up. I quit.
No consent.
I know what the outcome's going to be. Like I said, I'm not wasting my time. So I wanted to see what they were doing. Got it. I'm not part of it. We're gonna vote. We're gonna vote.
No.
No, we're not gonna vote.
Well, I said, I mean, what does petition mean? P-E-T-I-T-I-O-N. Okay, a pet is something that you enjoy. I is man, and a T-I-O-N is a noun that's not in motion. So, a pet, man, not in motion. So petitions don't mean shit.
I know. I said, well, we're going to petition the government. I said,
What's
why?
an affidavit?
Yeah.
A-F-F-I, D-A-V-I-T, David. So aff means no, man, and then what you tie a vessel to a dock to.
So instead of an affidavit, what would you do?
I do a letter of truth. I give truth, and testimony of truth, a testament of
Testimony.
truth.
Okay.
I definitely don't do any nautical terms. Testament of fact. With some supports, to go along with it.
Yeah.
Now, do you have witnesses or do you have a notary on that
My thumb.
letter of truth? Good.
Yeah, 3 of them is better than a notary. It's in my venue.
So 3 of them, 2 witnesses and a thumb.
Claim it and 2 witnesses.
Okay.
Each time you make a claim, you have to have 2 witnesses
Yeah.
to it,
Yep.
or more.
2 or more are gathered here.
So, and that's why I'm trying to get people to file out and be national, because they're no good to me as citizen. You claim it's a man, and we got 2 citizens, and it's a witness. Okay, yeah. That's good. Yeah, I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. These people are my worst enemies.
These people what?
People are my worst enemies because they're lazy. They won't do it. They can't do it. They can't learn truth.
They won't.
They're my worst enemy.
They
You see
can
now,
breathe
don't you?
and move.
Yeah, I can see where you're going with it.
Yeah, so if the name that you have in your birth certificate, if it's not recognized as a national, if it's a citizen, I can't use you.
You have to be in the system, you have to be part of the corporation, or you can't use it.
So, yeah, the documents that I did for other people and filed them out, they're in dishonor all the time. They're constantly jeopardizing the citizens, the people, the public. Corporations, they're idiots. So it's like I can't do that no more. I'm actually going to probably have to be witness against them one day, put them in jail.
Because they're double-minded.
They're idiots. They're doing all kinds of stupid stuff because I don't have to do this. I don't have to follow your rules. I can go down the road at 120 and drink and,
I know. They don't take responsibility for what they create. So that does make them
So
dangerous.
I can hit another man, but I can't hit a citizen. That's assault and battery. But if I hit another man, that's just a disagreement. So I said, if you're not fouled out, I can't hit you. So if I hit a
Because you're hitting U.S.
citizen, yeah.
Yeah.
That's domestic violence. Domestic being part of the corporation, part of Congress. Yeah. So if I hit a wife, we were married under God, and there's no marriage license, we go to church. In the church, the Baptist minister will take care of it. That's the way it should be done. Not with a man in a black robe sitting on a bench. So, and that's what I'm trying to show people. That's when George Daniel, I'm trying to show him. I don't understand. Well, I'm sorry, then plead guilty. Just plead guilty. tell the judge the defendant pleads guilty on all charges of proof of claim, and then you'll be the witness against him, and you'll be fine.
Huh. So inside out. But then when you see it, you see it. You can't ever unsee it. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you the words, I'm telling you what to do. I don't understand. Oh my God, well then you know what? If you've been studying for 20 years law, then give it up. Because you can't even understand what a person is. It's an incorporation, it's an all caps incorporation. It's admiralty law, it's been copyrighted by the Vatican. Go, quit, just quit. So how do they spell the courthouse? All caps?
yeah,
Okay, is that not admiralty law?
it's
And
corporate.
isn't the defendant in all caps?
Yeah.
Is that not admiralty law?
Yeah.
There you go. There's the evidence right there. So what is admiralty law? It's shipping. Like I said, I'm just tired of it. Really, really tired of it.
I can understand why.
So, jurisdiction, contracts, I'm done. I'm through. Totally through. I just have fun with it now. I'm like Robert Menard. When they do this, I do that. When they do this, I do this.
He was the first person I learned anything from. Thank God for YouTube. He's the reason I walked in and was able to get rid of that judge, asking him by what authority.
Authority of the legislator.
Oh,
Authority of the legislature. That's where their authority comes from.
well,
And I'll tell you that. I've heard many judges say it. In many cases they said that. And so what does that mean? Can a corporation pass law?
Not against the man,
So
only
now
for the
they
corporation.
can only
now we
pass
gotta get-
statutes.
So now we got to get the standing we got to get the standing right. So that's where you have to overstand. You have to.
So all of these courts are not hearing Sidney Powell and Giuliani.
They have
with
no
all,
standing.
Right, and
Right.
I was trying to tell, it's the voters, the actual citizens that need to go and
No,
they.
it's actually the electors. The voters have nothing to do with it. Is the president voted or elected in?
Elected,
So the electors are the ones that have to do it,
and they didn't,
not one.
because they didn't know to, or they want.
Nobody asked them to. It's all about the voter fraud. Voter fraud. That's all we hear about. It's a distraction.
Yeah,
Trump
yeah,
knows
yeah,
what's
yeah,
going
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
They didn't have one elector saying that's not who I voted for.
And okay, yeah, it is the
So
electors.
Pence-
Is that why they
Pence
want to
is-
get?
Pence is certifying the vote, or not the vote, but the election, and certifies that all the election was done correctly because he has all the electors. It was all done correctly. So the vice president certified the election of Joe Biden through the electors. It's all right there.
Yeah. That's huge fraud.
It's just people don't get it. I mean, why vote?
Yeah.
There isn't a vote.
There isn't one. There hasn't been for a long time.
It's the election. It's the electors. So it's like, it's a joke. Really a joke.
So it's going to be 10 more years, right? And there's not going to be any more elections. There's not.
Sure they will. You gotta have a theater.
No, that's true. It's all theater. Every bit of it now.
I mean, Lincoln wasn't a president, but he went through. And when he shot, they brought another actor in. He wasn't the president. No. The real president was Jefferson Davis down in Savannah, Georgia.
He was the last real president, right?
Oh, I mean, he really can't be called a president. He should be called a ruler, king, something like that. But he wasn't a president. But they called him a president because that's what the people at the time recognized, a president. And that's what happened when you don't understand what this is about. You're mixing jurisdiction venues because you don't understand the other venues. So when I'm telling people the difference between statutory law, common law, Napoleonic law, canons law, they don't know what. There's laws are there. There's a bunch of different laws.
How are there still state troopers and stuff running around? There's a state trooper right there, another sheriff there. I mean, the state troopers,
You want them to go away?
I just want them to not be pulling people over and giving them tickets.
Well, unfortunately, these other people want people pulled over and give them tickets when they're doing something they think is wrong. They want law. They want order.
So,
So you're a minority. You're less than 3%.
Just want them there.
you need to learn how to handle your own affairs. So
I
do
know.
I, and so do the rest of us that don't want to be a part of it. We need to
I
have
know.
them there for the public, and that's what they're there for.
That meeting today, all these women want to go to their neighbors and get them to understand. So they teach you.
Right.
Like what's broken? There's nothing broken. It's all working just fine. The bankers know exactly what's happening. So I'm not going to see a change in anything. I just know what the truth is.
Yeah.
So their courts aren't for me. They won't drag me in no more. My neighbors run happy because they can't get me to do what they want me to do. I don't care. The deputies come down the road and they say, we can't do nothing here. So my neighbors go get an attorney, and the attorney goes, well, we're going to make him mad. We're going to fight with him. And when he fights back, we'll do a protection order. So they've been trying to fight with me the last 2 years. They took my fence down. And they did a lot of dirty things to me.
Why would they take your fence down?
To fight with me.
Just to, well, okay.
Yeah, they took the fence down 2 years ago and started cutting my yard. So I waited 30 days, and then I put another fence up. I put chicken wire, not a ranch fence, but a chicken wire. Old crappy chicken wire. But at least now they can't run their lawnmower past the property line.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute though. If they took the fence down, where did your dogs go?
All over the goddamn place.
In their yard too? And they wanted that to happen?
Yeah, to cause a problem.
Yeah.
Like, whenever your neighbor comes up and goes, are you a U.S. citizen? You know they got an attorney.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a U.S. citizen. Tell your attorney no. So then they come up the other day and go, your dog is limping. I said, no, 2 dogs are limping. Oh, you know about it? Yes.
2 dogs are what?
Limping. So they want to do another animal cruelty charge. So if I'm not taking care of my animals, they'll try to bring somebody in. Like, I'm not taking care of my animals. Yes, I know they're limping. But the 2 women came up so they could have 2 witnesses that he didn't know they were limping. Yes, I know they're limping. That's exactly what's going on. Give them a couple days, they'll be fine. I'm taking care of it. Go away.
What is with your neighbors? I mean,
It's the attorneys. You gotta
they're
understand
trying
how
to
this
get
thing
you
works.
back for taking them
That's
down.
your problem, is the attorney, because you interrupted the Mason society that the attorneys are Masons and they're going to attack you. That's how it works.
Well, they're not attacking me anymore, at least not overtly. So.
There's just other things to do right now. I mean, they lost the bar association. There's just other things going on right now. They have to get retrained in constitutional law.
Yeah, I heard that. I would
So,
think they'd be happy for
Do
that.
any of them have any kind of a license right now? Is it through the Supreme Court, or do you know?
Well, they never had a license.
They have oversight by Washington. Okay, Washington, District of Columbia is taken away. They don't have District of Columbia, so it's not attached to the Vatican right now. It's just Washington. Did you
All
see
right.
that?
So when an attorney displays a license number, what license number is he displaying?
The
More than
bar.
likely federal, because the Bar Association is dissolved. So, but I did notice instead of member numbers, now they have license numbers. But I believe that's a federal number. It's not a state number.
And that's what I'm curious about. All right.
That's why it's now a department. All attorneys are in Department of Counsel. Departments are federal. Agencies are state.
Wow.
And the federal. All right.
So
My guess, we'll probably see Department of Interior come back. When that happens, now we got a lot of power.
the people have a lot of power.
Yeah, we can start making claims to the land again like we used to. So that's what I expect to see any day, Department of Interior to come back into.
So,
They'll be restaffed. The doors will be open for business.
so how does that affect land patents?
You know what a land patent is?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's a description of a plot of land, and it's been authenticated or certified as with me as the claimant of that land,
Claimant of,
that plot of land.
like you haven't told me of what standing,
I don't know.
okay? You can use it for profit. You still don't own it. That's what a patent does. I just invented this. I got a patent on it, and I'm going to license you with a patent, so you can make this for profit. So I own it. So the land is still owned by king or queen. But the United States has an agreement to patent somebody else's land, so you can use it for profit, farming, industry,
Okay. Okay.
but you still never own it. But now you can challenge them on, like my land is owned by King of Spain. Okay, Commissioner, do you have an agreement with King of Spain to tax me for it? Because in California, people go to Spain all the time, and they give notice that they're on Spanish land. Can I give you 1 ounce of gold a year for taxes for your land? And they go, yes, we'd love 1 ounce of gold from you. So you write up an agreement, you go back to the state of California, you show the Secretary of State, you have a private agreement with the title landowner. Now they can't tax you because you're paying taxes to the owner, the king.
And you know people in California that have actually done this with the King of Spain.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
You always have to go back to the title owner, grantor.
And how much of the land is actually titled back to Spain?
From Venezuela all the way up to Alaska.
All of it.
Not all of it, but majority of it. I mean, from the
So
Ohio
Washington-
River to the Pacific Ocean in the United States, majority of it is Spanish.
Okay, but the French Quarter on the other side of the
In
Mississippi,
Louisiana.
in the south is all French, right?
How did Napoleon get it?
Stole it.
I mean, how did he acquire it?
Well, I guess he stole it from Spain.
He didn't steal it. When Napoleon became emperor in 1804, the first thing he did was he went to war with Spain. And he started causing them financial problems. So that is when Spain needed to raise some revenue. So that's how France got the Louisiana Purchase. So, and then what happened was France conceded it over to France, and then France conceded over to the United States. But the United States was in bankruptcy to France. It's funny as shit.
So, in spite of that, then Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, all those states still go back to Spain as
Yes.
the owner. Okay.
Absolutely. So if you look on, when it was all conceded, it was on the Mississippi River, I think it was St. Louis, that it all happened on a dock. So that one day they flew the Spanish flag with an ambassador from Spain, and then the next day they took the Spanish flag down, they ran the French flag up, and they had an ambassador from France. And the next day they took the French flag down and they put the U.S. flag, and now we have the Louisiana Purchase. Look at that. It's fascinating what happened.
I didn't know that.
Not many people do, but I had to figure out who owns this country. So in 1819, we did the purchase of Florida. Okay, but in 1819, the United States was in bankruptcy. So how did they get paid? The creditor was France. Interesting. And what a lot of people don't understand was in the 1600s, France gave up the southeast corner of France to England. So England owns the southeast corner of France. Oh, it's fascinating. You start figuring out who owns what. So how could the English king take his soldiers over to France and fight some wars and help the king out? You can only, in international law, you can only fight, you can only protect what you own. That's the law. So how can we help other countries if we don't own any land? That's why they give us all these bases.
Oh, gotcha.
So we couldn't get into World War II until far into World War II. And that's when France and everybody started giving us land. Here, put a base here, put a base here.
Protect
We
us,
started getting
protect us.
bases in Italy and Africa, you know, and France, and that's why we went in, because we own land there now. They had to give us land. That's how kings lose their land.
God. I know.
It's fun. It's good, isn't it?
I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah. So how did we get the eastern side of Cuba?
I've always been curious about that.
Yeah, well, in 1885, they started running a propaganda that the Cubans were harming the children and harming the women. They had a big, American rhetoric was, let's go get them. So Teddy Roosevelt, they had a private war. It had nothing to do with the United States government. So they had a private war, and Tom Horn, he was over there. He was tending all the horses for Teddy Roosevelt. Not many people know that. But yes, but Teddy Roosevelt, he got his horse and cavalry over there, and he got his ass kicked. So in retaliation, the United States went to the Philippines, and we kicked Spain off the Philippines. And then when they sued us in international court and won, so we had to buy all the roads and buildings. We had to pay Spain for all the roads and buildings in the Philippines. And so in World War II, the Japanese emperor, he said, how do you think America got over on the Philippines? So the emperor said it right off the bat, this is all business. It has nothing to do with war. It's all business.
Right.
So there's a movie called The Emperor. Watch it. And he sits there and he explains it and start going through the history books. Yes, it's all commerce. It has nothing to do with real wars, real kings and queens. That's over with.
Commerce
So,
is king.
Monte Carlo. What is Monte Carlo? What is the Vatican? What is Singapore? Those are sovereign states. Not sovereign countries, but sovereign states. So in order for the kings and queens to take each other's property without killing anybody, they used to always go to Monaco and play games.
Oh,
So
gambling.
like it's a deck of cards, okay? You have a 52 card deck. Ace is a high card, right? Now let's throw 2 jokers in there. Now the ace goes to number 1. It's the lowest card. So this is what the courts are all about. When the man showed up, okay, the administrator is a judge and he holds a high position. When the man shows up and he goes, I'm the man, I'm the administrator, I'm the creator. Then the king comes in with a joker and he has 3 balls on, creditor, debtor, administrator, and 3 jokers. They do all their stuff. And now the man goes to the low total pole and the king wins again. Same with chess. We have all the checkerboard of masons, and everything's set up to take out the pawns and then try to capture the kingdom. But yeah, no, it's the queen. Why can the queen go forward, backward, sideways? Because one king can marry off his daughter to another king, and that way the other king can come help protect the kingdom. So that's why the king of France gave his daughter to King Longshank back in
Oh, yes.
13.
William Wallace, Braveheart shows that.
That's what allowed that. So that's why they joined. That's how they joined kingdoms. Yeah. Good stuff, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
They kept it all to the family. But big thing right then was 1298 when Longshank was trying to get the farmers to go over to France. They said, no, you'll steal our property. So that's when the trust was born. It's called a mortal name. That's when the actual trust became a trust. So the king said, okay, you go fight with me and your property will not be taken. We'll put it in trust. Your family keeps the property. Otherwise, the men wouldn't leave their land. The farmers were giving their land to the church. And that's what the king kept saying, hey, I can't protect your church. You're another venue. So you're gonna have to protect yourself. So that's where the church didn't want an army. They didn't want the same problem the Templars had. At that time, the Templars were in a lot of problems, and a few years later, they were all executed in front of the Notre Dame on an island in the middle of the river.
Friday the 13th.
13/12.
Today, the 13th. No, it's Saturday the 13th, but okay.
But anyway, but see, that's what was happening at that period in time. It was very controversial time. But all that has to do with today. We're going through the whole thing today.
Yeah, it's a hologram.
Okay, across the street there's Shell gas station, and it's in yellow, which means Pharaoh. Okay, and what happened was Saint Jacob. Okay, if you were convicted of a crime, Saint Jacob didn't want to put you into the tower to be locked up. So they gave me a choice. Take the pilgrimage to Portugal and Spain, learn truth and knowledge, come back, you'll be a better citizen for us. So the seashell is a symbol of a pilgrimage. So whenever you were a convicted criminal, you would walk to Spain and Portugal, you would see how society was built. In the meantime, all the trails went by monasteries and churches. They took care of you. You learned Latin, you learned Spanish, and you went down, and within 6 to 9 months, you came back home. But you were humbled. You were no longer a criminal. Now you had to try to teach other people. We need a society. We need structure. Otherwise, we'll be barbarians. I understand why we have castles, why we have the pharaohs. That's the seashell. That's the pilgrimage. Now, the pilgrims came to America. They were not pilgrims. They were servants. That's a lie.
They were pirates.
They weren't learning truth.
No, they were pirates.
So I studied all about the Mayflower. I mean, I studied a lot of crap.
Not crap. It's fascinating. It's just,
But now I understand how everything works, why it works, and all the symbology. And I listen to these people, and that's what the Masons do. They go, yeah, let them, we still own them. They're not going nowhere. They're doing, there's no threat to us. No threat.
yeah.
Me, they told me last year, you're a threat. You tore us up.
And you're going to teach other people. Other people are going to see it.
No one sees nothing.
And all you need to tell them is like, I didn't start this, but I did finish it.
No, it's not just starting anything. It's my job to put them in order.
Well, of course. But they came after you. You didn't bring a claim against them. They brought the claim against you. And they went and caused you the harm and damage.
They started the war.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it first blood, but I'm still angry.
For good reason.
The attorneys always ask me, "What are you doing here?" I said, I'm still angry. They don't know what to say. I don't know if I don't know. Maybe it'll wear off one day. Maybe it won't. But today I'm angry. I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna be a witness. I'm gonna watch what's going on. If it's out of order, I'm gonna give you notice of the breach. You got 30 days to fix it. If not, then
You're going to jail.
maybe not. I don't know. I don't make that decision. I've seen a lot of them go. I've seen a lot of them fined. They can't have public jobs anymore. I don't have anything to do with that. I just know how to put them in order. So, I got to give the prosecutor notice, because he's the principal agent to it all. I might give the Secretary of State. I might give the Attorney General, Bob Ferguson, notice. I have before. And then the congressperson, give them notice, congressional oversight, and give the FBI notice. There you go. And that's a corporation now. If it's a violation on man, like the Geneva Convention, if it's apartheid, the Hague, I've given them all notice before. And then if it's a civil registration, the United Nations, they handle that. Fuck it. And then I give the FBI notice that I gave them notice. Everybody's in the same loop. Everyone knows that everybody's been notified.
Yeah.
And they got 30 days to fix it. And usually they do. Usually they do. That's why they don't treat me like they hate me, but they definitely very wary when I'm around.
Yeah.
Especially, when I'm going into a Secretary of State, they were yelling at me one day. I had to sue them because I read the code of the state seal. You're not supposed to know that. You have to sue us. So, I don't have to do anything. Well, you're not supposed to know that. How'd you learn it? I just learned code and I'm reading what's here. So I read the 1886 seal. Okay, it's not 1889, it's actually 1886. I went through the original document.
You mean they turned the 6 upside down into a 9?
No, what happened was during the Reconstruction Act, they had to wait 17 years from 1871 for jurisdiction to make a new state. So then they wanted 17 states, 17 years, to all come in at the same time for jurisdiction. So the state of Washington was ready to come into statehood in 1871, I believe, the first constitution. And then they wrote another constitution in 1878 in Walla Walla. They wrote two in 1871, one in January and one in August. The one in January was ratified, okay? And it gave sovereignty to man. And August was not ratified. Then the railroad company wrote a constitution in 1878 in Walla Walla. It was not ratified. And then they wrote another one in Olympia in 1886, but it wasn't ready for acceptance because of the international political state of the United States. In 1889, they could bring states in, so they brought 17 states in 1889, 17 years after the 1871 Reconstruction Act. So there's a whole bunch of states that came in all at once. They're all lined up waiting to come in. But the original seal has a rope around it, which means it's a bond. Okay, the new seal has no, or the 1967 seal is not bonded in any way. And then they had lowercase lettering enjoining the Latin words, which made it real, de jure. So you had state, capitals of lowercase, Washington capitals. But in the meantime, you had asterisks at the bottom tying 1889 to the state of Washington, before and after. They were joining it, and that's part of the Latin. It was not dead Latin, it was de jure Latin. And then the new seal of 1967, the Richard Nelm seal, actually put the capital in Seattle at the Bar Association. So I read, it's all dead Latin, and it has no liability, none whatsoever. And when I explained that to the Secretary of State, they come unglued. They grab their attorneys, they're yelling at me. Yeah, you're not supposed to know that. You're not supposed to know that. So anyway, I don't really give a shit. I just know, I'd like the charter. We're not going to give it to you. You're not asking for the same thing. Okay, I know what I'm asking for, and I don't even care. It's a contract with the Vatican. It's a UNIDROIT. Got it. You're not supposed to know that. I don't care.
Unbelievable. You're not supposed to know that. Well,
very few people do know. Because see, they have to give the
Because-
seal. If you know how to read the seals, they give you full description in the seals.
you're not supposed to know that because we can take advantage of you if you don't know that. Period.
I don't know. Right now, if that's the case, then they're criminals.
Well, they are criminals. It's all been by design, the
I don't
dumbing
know they're all
down.
that way. It's just, I can't claim anybody's a criminal until I witness a criminal act, and that means there's title over it.
Okay.
So I just watched a long case over Judge Walker in Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, where she was convicted of using her public office, and it was basically a cousin. She had a cousin working in the parole office, and they tried to fire her, and the judge says, "No, that's my cousin." So that was an overreach of authority.
Sure.
The judge couldn't do that. So after about 10 years in the state and federal court, the judge sentenced her to 6 months in jail and quite a few years of probation. So she sat there and she wouldn't get out of the chair, and so she did not volunteer for a thing. So the bailiff had to pick her up.
Oh, I saw that video of
Yeah.
them dragging her out, her heels like this, kept dragging out. Is that symbolic of something, or heels
Yes.
up like that?
Yes. Okay, so that's a drag order. Okay, but they can't do that to a man, only the property. So she knows enough that they're going to be harmed by it. She's going to come back and get them.
Because they forced her, basically.
That's slavery.
Yeah.
It's a drag order on property. So she knows what she's doing.
I watched that video.
Yeah, that's what it was all about. The attorney was going to plead, let us do a motion for dismissal. And, complete a motion for dismissal, a motion for dismissal. No, we're going to do this, we got to do this. So, anyway, all the attorneys are going to get paid. She's going to get paid. They all know it.
It's all theater.
Yeah. And they're going to get paid big time. Yeah, but that's the symbology of it.
All symbology, everything. They get us through our subconscious.
It's just a game. It's just understanding you can rewrite the script and do whatever you want. So anyway, so she'll do a life claim in jail, out, sue the hell out of him in private, some private setting. She probably knows how to do it, and own some big federal park somewhere.
Have you seen her do anything yet?
No, I just watched the video. I was aware of what happened, but I think Lorna shared the video with me yesterday. So yesterday morning I watched it and I go, yep, that's what's going on right there. Yeah, it's all staged. Otherwise they wouldn't have such clear videos of it.
They do indeed.
Yeah, so they're giving us full disclosure. So, what more do the people want? They write, they got it. It's just not what it's about. It's educational. They want you to learn what's happening here. So that's how I view everything.
Well, we'll see what happens with that and see what she does.
We won't hear about it because it'll be in the private. My guess is there'll be a claim at the federal claims court, and they'll change the case number, change the name like they always do. You won't be able to find it. And that's what David Wynn Miller said. He perfected doing claims, but he couldn't even find his own claims after he got them perfected because they changed them all. Unless they give you access to all the cases, you can thumb through all the cases, you can't find them. What do you want? We'll find it for you. Nope, not here. I just finished it last week. Here it is right here. No, we don't have that number here. It must be another number. Can you tell me? No, you have to tell me. And I had them do that to me. I've had that happen to me in court. We know what you want, but I can't tell you. The Secretary of State told me that. We know what you want, but I can't tell you. I know what I did wrong. Don't worry about it. I don't need it now. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you just enlightened me. I got something else I can do that's even better.
That's to bond the Secretary of State for all that's done.
No, I just go international. I mean, I love it when they say no, because then I go around them. Hey, I'm sorry, your corporate office Secretary of State doesn't work, so I'm just going to go to you. And I want it through you now. So the state of Washington is franchised under the United States. So if the Secretary of State doesn't do it, you go to the State Department. And then you get something with a red ribbon on it.
Yeah. In other words, a red ribbon as an award.
No, it's red ribbon signifies truth, a white ribbon signifies sovereignty. So I'll never see a white ribbon, but I will see a red ribbon.
Okay.
When you're doing the life claims at the State Department, you're getting a birth certificate notice. They'll give it back to you with a red ribbon clipped in the corner. Well, not a red one, but a blue one clipped in the corner. That means it came off the sea and went to the docks. So, yeah. Well, I mean, they've been doing this for years. It's nothing new. It's just that, once you go private, then you have to stay out of the public or you lose your private status. That's why you can't find any of this stuff in the public. And that's why I got to be careful with what I do. That's why I tell people, don't sell these documents. That way you're taking a private document and you're putting it in commerce. You're ready to go to jail. So people don't get it. I can sell this for $1,200. Yeah, you could. But if there's an injured party, you're going to go to prison. So, I said, I have to do it. Either I'm aiding or I'm a witness. And people don't get that.
Right.
So, anyway. So I hope I gave you some more clarity to what's happening.
Absolutely. Tremendous amount of information, and there's been a lot of eye-openers, so no question, a lot of learning. And I would absolutely like to go ahead. I'll work with Lorna as well, but I want to complete this process as quickly as I can to get my estate addressed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what's happening right now. I've got to get things settled with the state of Washington, then I can go get things settled with the Social Security Administration. And I understand that they have to bring it to the table. They must. Otherwise, there'll never be another state of Washington. And they have to. If I die of natural causes, perfect for them. But if I die by the hands of one of their code enforcers, they're in a shitload of trouble. So, these code enforcers, when they run my name, they freak out. They get a big red screen. I'm at Walmart. Every time there was 2 police cars the other night at Walmart. And when I drive, I can see the green, the cabs are lit up green with their computer screens in there. And when their automatic reader reads my license plate, it goes red, the cab goes red. So I've seen that 3 times now. When the code before, when the police officers is sitting in Walmart. So yeah, they get a red screen on my van.
So did you just ask them to run the van to see what happened?
No, I can see it. And I've asked the deputies, you get a red, when you run this address, when you run my name, you get a red screen. They said yes. And then they get a call, and then they get told what not to do.
Yeah.
You can't do this, you can't do that, can't do this.
So whoever sees that on the other side, sees that red screen, they know immediately to call that officer and tell him.
When I took my phone into court, they knew I was at court and everybody would scatter. So that's why I had to quit taking my phone with me.
Yeah, they got me on my phone at one
And that's what
time.
happened last year is I was with James David in Harbor Freight, and then John Snazzle walks in. He's looking for me. And he finds me and he stares at me. So
Who's John Snazzle?
Sheriff,
Oh, that's right, okay.
So I walked up and I said, I looked at him, I kept shopping, I looked over, he's still staring at me. He's staring at me, so I said, hello John, how you doing? And he goes, I don't have anything to do, they locked my office. I don't know why. I said, John, they shut the county down, you don't have a county to put it in. Oh, I said, John, where are the county commissioners? Are they health commissioners? He goes, yeah. And since you don't have a county building, they're at the city of Olympia? He goes, yeah. There you go, you have no county. What they've done, John, is they've extended the limits of Olympia out to the county limits. So instead of Thurston County, we have one large city of Olympia.
now that I didn't know. We're actually, right now, City of Olympia.
Yeah, we're all, yeah.
And that's because we don't have a charter
Yeah.
under the corporation.
Yeah, County of Thurston's gone, so across the river, I'm in the city of Olympia.
That's all mine.
You see, a couple of years ago, I took the courthouse from them. So they needed another courthouse, but they couldn't put it in County of Thurston for 21 years. So they were going to build a Thurston County courthouse in DuPont.
Oh my God.
And what was going to happen was they were going to extend Pierce County over into Thurston County and then run that courthouse. And then some reason the heads of it couldn't get it together. So now what they did is they shut the Superior Courthouse down, but now they leased a building half-mile away on Chandler Court, a warehouse, and they're running the Superior Court out of a warehouse. Business. No county, just business.
Yeah, no kidding.
But they have a court called Chandler Court. You see, nobody recognizes this stuff. I'm laughing at it.
Yeah. I mean,
It's good.
we're just kind of dumbfounded right now. We've got so many, I don't know, dumbfounded is the right.
Well, what happened to John Snazza, he's like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, it's
So when
cognitive dissonance.
When he
that's
left,
what it
I'm
is.
sure he went and talked to somebody that had some knowledge, and they're probably telling him, yeah, he's right, yeah, he's right. And he's probably going, what? And that's why he's so freaked out about doing the government's mandates. He realizes there's people out here that have a lot of knowledge. And he's watched all his deputies go to jail, and he's like a little worried.
These are the deputies that offended you.
Yes.
Okay. His deputies are the ones that offended you.
They did bank robbery, that was the big thing, and then they tried to cover it up.
Yeah.
So they were all aided and abetted.
Yeah.
So that was the big thing they did right there. You know, the arresting officers, they put them on the bay for 2 years. So they weren't on the land, they were on the sea, so they didn't have jurisdiction. They hid Deputy Natansky and Deputy Steins went out they were on harbor patrol for 2 years. And they changed their names. So Natansky was named Gibbons, and I can't remember what Steins was, Johnson. But anyway, then he finally came back to land. And then he disappeared in 2019. So when I saw John last year, October 2018 or 2019, they went missing. So I said, Deputy Natansky and Deputy Steins are no longer on your roll. Are they in prison? And he said yes. So they had to pay the debt. So the contract ended March 23rd, 2020. So for some reason in October 2019, it was probably the 10th of October, 10/10, say 10 twice, they put him in jail.
You said 10-10, say 10 twice?
October is the 10th month,
Okay.
and 10th, so it's 10/10. So
October 10th.
say 10 on the feet, say 10 on the soul, because you harmed a man. Say 10 twice.
Ah, yes. Okay. God.
To me, it's real simple.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowingly simple. That's
So the problem, my guess is they got back-to-back 10-year sentences. You can't cut the lock off somebody's property, hold them up at gunpoint, kidnap them, imprison them, bank rob them, and then run them through your own private court. Not a man. That's what they did.
what they did to me.
That's right.
No,
They
they didn't
got-
do that to you. They did that to an all caps. you never got your standing. That's why I'm trying to, been begging people to get this, listen, I know what I'm doing, get this paperwork done,
Get
begging,
it.
begging, begging.
You're talking about the claim of life?
Part of it,
Okay.
yeah.
What's, oh, and the treasury account, direct treasury?
Canons 320, 32, 28.
Okay.
The presumption, the 12 presumptions of law. All right, and everything that I do in the life claim is right there. You just have to it's like a riddle though, you have to recognize what it says.
Right.
I read it and I go, simple. It's like the scale with a heart and feather, simple, I got it, piece of cake. So, you know, the blind lady holding the scales, I know exactly what she's doing.
Light as a feather. A heart that's light as a feather is a guiltless heart. It's a free heart.
Just pausing it for 1 second, you guys. I just want to add a live life claim. It is something you can do, but going national is not enough. And at the end of this video, which is coming up in about 15 minutes, I'll be playing a video. It might be a little choppy because I'm on Zoom and I'm recording, but it's actually the consultation I did with Robert as a client, educating him on how to set up a full sovereign trust. That final step where your rights are separate from the system. Participation in the legal system, this is what I told Robert as well when I was consulting with him as a client and learning from him these processes, is that willful participation in that system is a war crime. And within that, he's not actually harming anyone, which is great. He is separate from that system. So I'm not saying he is criminally liable for what that system is doing. That's not the case. However, claiming corporate status as a national with your rights reserved is still just not complete. I mean, it is correct. And if you honor private law, there is no problem with it. But as far as standing up to the legal system, it's a part of the process to that system being defeated, but that system itself has no soul, no rights can exist within it. And it's a slavery system, and they commit contract fraud because there's no full disclosure. And while he says there's full disclosure, there has to be a meeting of the minds for full disclosure. And that's where, again, in contract law, they are committing fraud in everything they do because people do not understand or comprehend the symbolism and the language, and most people don't go and read Latin. So anyway, I just want to let you guys know what he teaches is great as far as how to hold the system accountable. I'm not saying to not do those things, but what Peacemaker Society teaches at peacemakersociety.org is a full sovereign trust that is also recognized by the legal system. And that's where, when he talked about not getting the white ribbon of being a sovereign, we actually are under the white ribbon of sovereignty. We're not under their white ribbon, but within our rights, we are the highest law that there can be under God and in private law. So within that, I just want you guys to understand that. I'm going to put it back to Robert here for the last 16 minutes. I thank you guys very much for tuning in, and I look forward to the last little bit of what he has to say here. Thank you so much. And make sure you check out the other video where I introduced Robert as someone associating with our High Council, and Lorna, she introduced Robert and I as well. And he spoke with Popoy, one of the administrative heads of 10 different First Nations. Now, unfortunately, Popoy is going under central banking, doing digital currency, that kind of thing, and I don't approve of that. So we've gone our own ways. And I also found holes in his ability to explain funding as far as when a program's up, how much does it cost, how much does it make, how much extra is there to continue to fund it. He doesn't have those figures. He's planning to get funding from central bankers and other people. Within that, obviously, their nations do have a lot of resources on the land that is theirs. But again, you can only claim dominion to a certain amount of land. They do not own all of Canada by any means, nor can they claim more land than they can use, because other people are also Indigenous with Indigenous rights, whether they understand that or not. So again, I'm gonna put you back here. Thank you guys for listening. This stuff blows me away. I respect Robert Ritzman very much for his work. Don't take me elaborating on his work to the final step of sovereignty and a sovereign trust and all of that as any slight against Robert. I do encourage him to not always put for entertainment after his stuff, but within that, The knowledge he has is amazing, and I thank him very much for it. And Robert, if you're listening, we will reach out to you guys down the road when other people are managing. I recognize our relationship has come to an end. Same thing with Lorna. I was disappointed in some of the ways you guys were not able to support what I needed. But within that, I do believe in the work you guys are doing. And when I have people other than myself running our diplomatic side and the day-to-day management, I will have them reach back out to you. And that goes for everyone Peacemaker Society has ever spoken to. I know my standards are very high. So I do turn a number of people away. And because I'm in such a moral place of law and fact, and I'm an advocate for the people being murdered, not the people who are ignorant and causing the murder, I offend a lot of people. But within that, just know Peacemaker Society, we're made up of thousands of people over the years, and about to be millions of people we've mentored globally. And we've done our part. I teach top experts. They're all better off for our work having been here. And now let's go back to learning from Robert. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
No?
I don't know. How do you make a heart lighter than a feather?
You relieve it of all of its shame and
enlighten it, huh?
guilt, and yeah. Enlighten it, yeah.
So like today what I found, these amber pendants that Jesus is wearing, they are the amber is actually from another man's conscious truth. When they cremated them, there was these little amber crystals, and that's what the people of knowledge, like Jesus, would wear that because they believe that enlightened them.
Amber, from my knowing, is a protective stone or a
So
protective
watch the video
substance.
with Robert Edward Grant, and he'll tell you like the Dalai Lama. They cremate them, and they go through the ashes, and they find these little amber rocks.
Okay.
And it comes from their heart. And only people that have living a life of truth have them. Nobody else has them.
Okay.
So somehow they get there. But anyway, that's the sacred. That's one of the forbidden knowledges.
Thank you.
But so I don't know if Robert Grant understands that I'm taking big value in this, because he doesn't know what he's saying. Because I'm studying law. He has numbers, and with my knowledge of international law, and I studied all these hieroglyphs, and I understand the legal or lawful reason why they have a scale and a feather and a heart, and why they have Canon's law. They got remedy. Why they had jurisprudence is remedy. You need jurisprudence court, so book number 2 is all your remedy.
Yeah. Yep, like I said, read jurisprudence.
So, I'm saying, right now I just got a full picture of what's happening. It's a lot of studying, but I fully get it. The architects of our society, 17,000 years, they have put man into a delusion which causes you to be a child, and now they are a custodian. So you must do what you're told or you're punished. Your privileges get taken away. Nothing new. But it makes for a good society, a better society for all.
Well, for those that don't know how to govern themselves or refuse to govern themselves.
Well, I don't know if right now, there has to be some kind of balancing point, and right now we're out of balance because politicians, doctors, attorneys, code enforcers.
I'm pausing it there for one more second to add something. So what they're talking about for a balancing point is what Peacemaker Society teaches. By founding your own private law society, becoming a competent heir, we train you in that process and how to do that and how to become competent so you can do these things and not be a custodian who's owned and has to do what they're told, where you actually have private law, beautiful rights under God, so you can self-determine what you do with your time and how you do it, and do it in a way you don't cause harm to life, liberty, property, or rights. And that's where anyone who criticizes me out there, maybe my behavior, I get why you criticize that, but keep in mind, I stand up to people who are killing freedom and murdering children through ignorance. Everything Robert's talking about is amazing. And I just, again, peacemakersociety.org, you get your Freedom Trust. Please go look. and then allrightsreserveduniversity.org. That is the competent air course for your ongoing training, but we fill the paperwork out for you. There is a gift. It is not free because we do have to pay bills and we have programs to fund and we need to educate other people. So we don't pay for your freedom, but we have made it so inexpensive. Normally it would cost millions of dollars to develop what we have, and you guys get it for several hundred to a few thousand to, you know, if your business might be 10 or 25,000, but that's still not the millions, and that's what we paid. So appreciate that we cost reduced this for you guys, harm reduced that cost as much as we could, and within that, getting a hold of us, we are happy to work out payment plans for our minimum gifts. And let's get back to Robert here. But again, what they're talking about here, Peacemaker Society is the in-between system that we teach you guys how to be that as well for yourselves. Thank you.
They're being too unjust what they're getting. You know, how can a congressperson with a salary of $240,000 a year, on average, they're all making $46 million a year on average.
Unjust
It's
enrichment.
insider trading. So what does that do to us? It devalues our pension and retirement plan. How does a code enforcer retire a multi-millionaire when he has an IQ of 90?
Right.
So because they're unjustly enriched to harm us. How does a state employee make an average of $96,000 a year, 56 days of vacation, a retirement, a pension, full health care, when, you know, nobody in the city, nobody in private that makes that? They're all making around $45,000, $50,000 a year. So they make double. So it's to keep their mouth shut. You know, so they're all getting paid. You're part of the mafia. So to me, that all needs to end.
Well, their hearts are way heavier than that.
I don't care. I'm here to put things in order. I don't back down. That's what I'm telling. It's everybody's job to put the system in order. That's what, you know. That's what the, you know, the theory of the matrix is. We got to stop Agent Smith and put the system back in order. Machines are what keep us alive. You know, the counselor says. I don't know how they work, but they keep us alive. That one cleans our water, that one brings fresh air in. Without them, we'd be dead. We need the machine, we need the system. I believe that myself. But right now, there are some agents that are out of order. They have created their own private societies, which are criminal. I mean, they're mafia.
Yeah, you're right.
They got their own language, their own law. They're out.
Pausing again. So this is where he claims that the system is needed. That's where, again, he and I disagree. To me, that's where he sells out freedom, because honestly, unincorporated voluntary societies and associations of community-run individuals to a no harm standard of life, liberty, property, and rights, to respect that, no fraud in contract, and anyone who violates it is held to account in peaceful, lawful process. In de jure courts, competent, sovereign, competent law courts. So within that, again, what Peacemaker Society teaches is how we end that system. Like he said, it's been engineered for 17,000 years, you guys. And that's where I just appreciate God chose me to be able to understand how we defeat this. No one has ever come up with a complete system like Peacemaker Society has for everybody that's neutral, and anyone who could would have kept it for themselves, but that's where I am benevolent in my heart and I give it to the public. Now, granted, there's a small minimum gift, but that's so we can fund actual correct programs, correct to government, hold the system accountable. There's an expense to that, and freedom is not free. Consider it pitch-ins. But again, this is where we will accept what you can afford, but wrap your mind around, you need to go unregistered, unincorporated, private law. You can still contract and commerce anywhere you wish with all rights reserved, but by doing so, you actually hold the system to account if they are incorrect. And we can use systems in the legal system that Robert discusses, as well as systems outside of the system, which we teach. And again, this is where we taught Robert how that works. And I will share that video with you guys in approximately 14 minutes. Talk to you soon.
Outside of what they don't deal with the codes like we deal with them. They deal with, you know, they have a legal language, and they have another religion, or a parasite. So, you know, it just needs, everything needs a balance. That's what this reset is about. It's gotten out of hand. So I'm putting it in order where I can. If I can springboard myself off somebody else's case, like George Daniel, and put some attorneys in jail, but he screwed things up so bad that, you know.
How?
He mixed, okay, I'm gonna make a nice soup, all right? and I'm gonna put carrots and lettuce, and I got a spoon and stirring everything up, and everything's nice. Dan George has been studying law for 20 years, and he's got a shitty spoon, nothing works. But he wants to dip his spoon into my good soup.
Oh,
So I'm trying to teach him how to make a good soup, to put this guy in jail, and he wants to bring the stuff that he knows into it.
he's got ego. Ego's going to take him down.
I don't know, I don't care.
Right.
I've been telling him he's stupid, he's a slave. Have you heard about all the abuse I gave him?
Yeah.
Probably recorded it.
I don't know.
I did. I
Probably
run him
did.
in the ground. I did. I said, you know, you're fucking stupid. You know, you got nothing but garbage. Right now, you're worried about making money on a book. You're not worried about me trying to help you out. You can't learn what I'm doing. No, you're interested in making money. You're not interested in learning law. You can't do both.
That's right.
The condition I had with him when he first wanted to, he called me for help. I said, look, I can hook you up here with you, but only under the condition that you give him a donation and that you follow everything that he instructs you to do, period. He agreed to that. Obviously, he didn't do anything of
He
the sort.
lied to me. Okay, you know, I give him
Not
all these
ego.
things to do back in October or September. And he calls me up in January that he's filing the assumed name. I said, wait a minute, didn't you get this done back in September? No. You told me in November you did. You told me you lied to me. So I don't know, what have you done? Did you get your bonds? No. So you got your corporation. Yeah, but in the wrong name. He didn't do it in the defendant's name. So I said, all right, well, I don't know. I'm going to take a good faith. You got a contract with the church and your wife.
Okay, you guys, so all that complicated stuff that he's talking about right now, while in the system you can do that, what we teach is how to be unregistered, unincorporated, not bonded. It's a 3-letter process. It's very simple. We fill it out for you. This is where what Peacemaker Society did that's so amazing is we made a simple process anyone can do to reclaim rights. Because like Robert says, most people cannot learn to the level that he is at. Most people are doing this for money. Those are a lot of the people I reject because they missed the whole point of law and the whole point of history and preventing genocide and stopping children from being murdered by the COVID vaccine, which it has now killed more people than were killed in Hiroshima globally. Not to mention the millions and millions of people that are injured from it that we get reports daily on from around the world. So again, the complicated process he's talking about right now, peacemakersociety.org. We have simple templates. We fill it out for you. It gets you your rights. Not incorporated association allows you to operate in commerce, but in the private. So this is where, again, you're not under their system, even in how you earn your living. Very important to actually being free. So while he is great as a way to hold the system accountable with the system, that's why I'm sharing what he teaches. We are vastly different in our belief system in that I will not ever comply with anything that a satanic system, that's a pedophile system that murders children, wants me to do, including bonding anything commercial. I am always unregistered, unincorporated, with all rights reserved under private law, Peacemaker Society law, which outranks legal code always. Anyway, we'll get to that in about 10 minutes. Thanks, guys.
Agreed. Yeah, I did do that. Okay, and the judge told him, I don't have that jurisdiction. Perfect, we're done. Well, he didn't realize the judge just excused him when the judge said, I don't recognize the jurisdiction of the church. Great, because I don't recognize your jurisdiction. I'm not in a legal society. He could have walked out, but he didn't. He stayed.
Oh,
Duh.
it's the same kind of thing that had happened to me, right?
But they're not going to do a trial on him. They can't now. So even the defense attorney asked to quit. I want to quit. Gotta go. The judge says, nope. The defense attorney sees, yeah, I'm in trouble. I'm going to spend 6 months in jail with this case.
That's what the attorney said?
No, that's what's going to happen. The attorney's going to get 6 months in jail.
Okay.
He's going to take the domestic violence charge because George ain't going to co-sign for it.
Oh,
But George is screwing it all up because he wants to do, I'm not going to do it unless I understand it. And what am I wasting my time for? You learn it on your own. You got 20 years experience, I only got 6.
I'm not going to, okay, well, you
This
know,
is George Daniel and the attitude that he has.
yeah.
And everything he does doesn't work.
it's an ego thing, and the ego will take you down every time. So he'll have to be humbled.
Well, you know, I mean,
And this'll be it.
It's like this, odds are he's going to lose. The defendant's going to lose anyway.
Okay.
I just broke jointer that he's going to be punished for.
Okay.
And he can't get that through his head. He's afraid.
Yeah, fear is the one that makes you stop thinking.
So, you know what I mean? I said, you're just going to have to go blind face and trust me, or just don't waste my time. And that's what I've been telling him. And right now, I said, that's it, George. You're more interested in a book than you are about you know, beating the court or about saving your wife from cancer. There's too many other things that you're not concerned about, the things that count.
And he's wanting to make money? Is that what you say? He's wanting to make money?
Yeah, he's trying to sell his stuff.
His processes that don't work.
He might have already, because I'm finding all the phone recordings and the transcripts all across the United States right now.
Oh my.
Which has no business happening.
No, because a lot of people can get into deep trouble
This
because
is the
they
thing
don't
about it.
understand.
You're a hypocrite if you don't make it work. So that's what people don't care about, making it work. They want to sell it. It's like the life claim. Did you get it done? No, but I'm going to sell it. You're a fucking hypocrite.
God, that's just immoral.
So, you
It's
know,
more than the hypocrite.
and
It's
this is the thing
immoral
about it.
because you can get
I
people in so much trouble.
I spent several years studying the birth certificate alone of a citizen. I spent probably 3 years studying just the assumed name. I spent 2 years studying the signature.
And I'm going to pause here for one moment, you guys. So again, this is where when I met Robert, well, over speaking on the phone and when I consulted with him, which again, I'm going to play the video of that in about 7 minutes. I asked him if he had what was in his head down as a system to teach people, and the answer was no. They had a bunch of audio recordings. So I asked Lorna for those. I had someone ready to transcribe because we were consulting with the Indigenous First Nations, the Chakotay Nation, people of the Salmon, Turtle Island, First Nations, and she was not able to provide that in a reasonable amount of time. So that was actually in part why that got dissolved. I recognized they were not battle ready. I need people who can, you know, if someone's trying to stab or shoot you in a war, you need to be able to move and respond appropriately. So if people are lagging in their process, I can't work with them. So anyway, that's why that came to an end. But that's where, again, Peacemaker Society, to tie their work into what we're doing, is just amazing because we have fill in the blank templates. I have a complete teaching course. Not only did I do what I teach, which is what they're saying, is that a lot of these people don't do this and they try and sell it. I've done everything that I teach. I've done myself. Up to and including I advocated for people who finished the lien process. We were recognized in court in front of judges. I have the transcripts, joined the Chamber of Commerce. Every program that we ran, we proved is recognized by the legal system, court, judges, everything. So again, we are the next step to this process. So as smart as these people are, we've accomplished even the next level. Now they're a foundation. We need what they teach to hold the system accountable from within the system, but we are how you do it as well. And so just let us know when you're ready. Thanks. Get a hold of us, peacemakersociety.org, peacemakersociety@outlook.com. Here we go. Let's finish this off, guys.
Signature, you know, putting all this stuff together. Nobody understands it like I do because they don't got any time. So you can't teach this stuff if you're like going, I'll just tell you what to do and do what I tell you. Because you don't understand what I'm writing, and especially when you're not using exactly how I write it. The judges realize this. The prosecutors don't realize what I'm doing.
Right.
The judges see it and they freak out. But you have to do the stuff exactly as I showed, because I understand dead Latin, the Admiralty law. I understand how it works really well, and I can break the letter, the presentment of the letter. I can break that every single time. It's real simple. But you got to do it the way I tell you to do it. You know, because I just see it. I know it. It's real simple. 30 years of contracting with the federal government. You know.
Yeah.
So that was all maritime law. That was an Admiralty law. I'm dealing with the state of Washington. That's Admiralty law. There's a difference. You know, the federal government doesn't play around. You know, if I have any problems, if I go to the Corps of Engineers, they control all federal jobs. My contractors are in trouble if they don't do things according to law. And I have done that before. I've got called up Virginia and said, hey, out here on Fort Lewis, Abshore Construction, blah, 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 blah. And then next thing I know, 2 weeks later, they're going, Robert, did you call? I had to. I'm not going to aid and abet a felony and federal crime. That's the problem. When I have knowledge, I can't, you know, people are worried because I have to, you know, I'm a witness.
Right.
So I have to deal with honorable people. Nobody's honorable today. Nobody.
sadly, that they don't know that they're out of honor, and they don't know how to get
That's
into
the thing
honor.
about it. If I got to keep my standing, then that's the only way I can keep it.
Sure.
Either I don't associate with anybody that's a bad character, you know, and that's the easiest way to do it. And right now, there's very few people that have any good character.
I know. I'm surrounded by them.
Yeah, me too. I can
It's
relate
like,
so well.
wow.
So you wonder why they shut courts down and judges get all freaked out, and you know, the FBI loves talking to me because they don't meet anybody like me very often.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, but I can, like I said, pretty much any issue, now I can figure it out. But it's all in the same pot. So there's, you know, and it's basically understanding the trust name and the title name. That's what it's all about. And then putting, you know, joining everything to the trust through bonds. Bonds are powerful. I do that, I bring in the United States.
It's just a matter of going to the U.S. Treasury and buying a bond for $25.
Whatever you want, yeah. Yeah, you know, Billy Jim Swan, he did 5 bonds for $25, and that caused the prosecutors to go to jail.
What's the least expensive bond that you can buy right now?
25.
25 is the least expensive.
Yep. So, you know, I don't like 25 XXV.
You do them for 50 each?
I personally like C's. I like 100%.
Yeah.
But right now, I don't know what it is, but because Billy Jim did $25 bonds and they put the attorneys in jail. So I can't tell you because I don't know. I just know. I just understand codes. But the whole thing is it actually joined foreign court to the United States. That's what it does.
And that really is most important because it's a bridge.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
I mean, you've been telling me for a couple of years about this. Get a bond through the Treasury, direct Treasury.
I've been telling people from the very first thing
I
I
just
tell
didn't
people is bonds
understand.
are the freaking most important thing.
Well, that's what the birth certificate is. It's a bond. It's got a bond number on it.
Does it say bond number?
It doesn't say bond number.
Mine does.
Okay.
Really?
Then yours is different. Okay. Then yours
Mine
has
is different.
Okay. It's either a title or a bond. If you're born on a commonwealth or a republic, it can be a bond, something of value that you use commercial. And since you're holding it, then you get to be the administrator with no argument. Okay. But since you're in the state of Washington, it's a certificate.
No, mine's out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, there we go again, Commonwealth. So yes, if you're born at home or if you're born in a private hospital, it'll be a bond.
I was born at Fort McPherson. I was born on an Army base.
Okay, well, so and that's the key to a lot of these things. Like Pennsylvania, if you're born at home, you get an actual bond. Okay, you're born in a hospital, you get a certificate.
Okay, both of my babies were born at home, but yet they have birth certificates that have the doctor's name as the
but
informant on
on the birth certificate, what time were they born?
One was born at 4:23 a.m.
Now, where'd they get 423?
That's just what they put down, but I don't know where they got it. Is measuring the hours of since 12 midnight.
Well, something happened because the
Zero,
code on the birth
100
certificate,
hours.
when you're born at home, it's only a whole number, no fractions or minutes. So something happened where the hospital, they claimed jurisdiction when they didn't have it. So something gave them jurisdiction.
The midwives.
Or they did it wrong. So, and this is the thing about where I show people how to read the birth certificate. It's all coded. Did you know that? If you're born at home, it's a whole number. If you get a birth certificate, it's like 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. If you're born in the hospital, it always has a fraction to it. You're not whole.
I've heard that before from you, so yes.
Okay, so with my daughter, I walked out of the hospital at 8 centimeters, went home, and had my baby with a midwife. And she was born at 5:38 p.m.
So
So
who gives them that? I mean, right now, if you're going to be an informant and get a birth certificate, that's the only way they got a birth certificate is you went in and became an informant.
no, the doctor's name is in the informant space. The doctor, the midwife who
Oh,
came to
okay.
my house
Because they
and
were
birthed
government-
it.
Because they were
State
military
licensed.
personnel.
Well,
What happened.
okay.
Okay, so that's
Both in the state of Washington, not in Georgia.
yeah. So that's what happened. Is your midwife was part of the military.
California is a republic. It's one of the few that have so stated it, and it flies it on the flag.
Oh,
The bonds that I have, if I get one from LA County, it says Midwest Banknote on the bottom. It has a number on it. If it's from the Secretary of State, it's Northwest Banknote. I've got both of them.
Okay, so you know that's a bill of exchange.
Yes,
You
it
can
is.
give that to set off debt. That's how you got your car.
I know. Once they saw that, they dropped everything and ran the other way.
Yeah. You know, I don't know if you know that or not, but that's what happened.
I know. I'm aware of it. Where's the stop that?
Okay, you guys, so that is the end of that recording, and I thank you guys for tuning in for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and play you guys on Rumble. Again, we'll see how well it works. But basically, Robert Ritzman and Lorna, the lady that was talked about in the recording there, actually called me. I had never met them, but they found my work, working with Jackie Fig and other stuff. Yeah, again, here, Crazy Tube, censorship. We're on Rumble because YouTube deleted our channel after 12 years. Not because of anything I was saying, strictly because of the fact that they censor the truth. So here, let's find the Robert Ritzman. I believe it's on the next page. So just search Peacemaker Society on Rumble to get to our playlist. So how to arrest legal system with private sovereign law, Robert Ritzman and Marcel talk now. So this is me consulting the gentleman you just heard. I will play this for you, and the picture might be a little choppy, but the audio, you should be able to hear it okay. And it's just set to photos of work we did on the channel here. So here we go. Oh, no, it's actually a video. Never mind.
Okay, this is just video on me doing the call with Robert at Lorna's request, and it was asked that it be recorded, so I am recording. Let me just get my phone. Turn it on. Here we go. Okay. Phone is turning on. Sorry, I'm not in a suit, but it's the weekend, and I'm a little less formal right at the moment. That's probably a good angle. Okay. Here we go. Very excited. This is very exciting.
I just put it on this video for you guys. There's a video of me talking to him, but trying to play the video seems to be making the audio jumpy. So I just went ahead and
La 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 la. Try this
that's
again.
warming up my voice. Anyway, please enjoy the audio to a nice video of some fire. This is at our animal sanctuary that we had for a year, Peacemaker Society Animal Preserve and Sanctuary. Due to the RCMP robbing me, I have left that property and we let it go. But within that, the police were wrong. And anyway, here's the audio of me and Robert speaking. Thanks. Enjoy. Peacemakersociety.org. Go get your Freedom Trust, guys. Come on. We have a sale on. Do it. And even when the sale's over, you still need it. We'll accept payments if you don't have the full amount. Cheers. You're either on the freedom and you're serving slavery and you're literally a war criminal. I don't want you to be a war criminal. Come join freedom. It feels good. Slavery feels bad. Cheers.
Hi, Robert. How you doing? It's Marcel from Peacemaker. No problem. You betcha.
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
I'm living the American dream. How are you?
Good, good. Doing the equivalent. Not so much the Canadian dream because they don't really know how to dream, but you know what I'm saying. It's very nice to meet you. Lorna kind of gave me a little bit of an overview on the good things that you're doing and the ways that you're exceedingly effective and some of the knowledge you have no one else has. And I think we'll complement each other very well.
Is this Marcus from the Chaku Fig
This is,
YouTube interview back about 10 months ago?
no, this is Marcel from Peacemaker Society.
Wait, I've been watching the video from 10 months ago. You did
Oh,
Chaku Fig.
Oh, Jackie Fig. Yes, that was. Yes, that's me. You betcha. You betcha. Sorry about that. I had a little trouble hearing at the end there. But yeah, no, that's me. You betcha. Yeah, it was a very nice interview. I enjoyed what Jackie was up to in that. And yeah, you bet.
Yeah, it's good to meet you. Yeah, my background is I'm a commercial contractor of 30 years, so I understand contracts.
For sure. That's awesome. Yeah, because that's all of this is. And same thing for me. I was an independent contractor for brokering gas for a long time. So it was security interests, and I understood what my rules were for signing people up. And I recognized once I knew the government was the same thing, that they're a corporation, it was easy for me to kind of organize what was out there. And then I just studied people and then tested it out. And we only teach what we've done, so there's no guesswork. We just basically proved anything you could do as a business, you can do as an unincorporated association. And through that, it gives you immunity to the legal system, protects your assets, gives you a fee schedule, lets you bill. But within that, I'm impressed that you actually have gone after attorneys and know how to use the system against itself and do the common law courts and enter the foreign judgments and all of that. And while I'm aware of that, I wanted to have someone experienced around before we did that step, because if you do it wrong, you get in a lot of trouble. But if you do it right, it kicks their butt. And I'm very grateful for your experience and knowledge. And as soon as I fully understand the applied knowledge, like I already understand the textbook stuff, and I've met people who have done it. But once we're ready to proceed, I'm very comfortable just taking the whole system down. And then we're going to launch an equivalent to every service right beside it, with funding from us, because we're just going to have more than we need. And I've set up Peacemaker to be 85% of what we bring in will always go into whatever the public needs or whatever groups need. Like if you found your own, or what Lorna's doing, we can actually provide funding as time goes as well. So, and all the technologies that'll help people. And then just basic needs, housing and food, but then there always needs to be open market for everything else. And it's not up to us to dictate. We're just setting people up with their own societies. And if everyone does whatever they're supposed to do within no harm standards, everything will get looked after, because some people have different passions always, and it all works out. And no one's ever going to run everything, because too many powerful people. You can only get big enough they can't squish you. You're never going to be big enough to own anyone else, because there's too many strong people. So that's part of why I wasn't too worried about them taking over the whole world, because there's always people that'll fight back who have power too. But I'm grateful that we're going to do it the peaceful way and hopefully help this Great Depression not be as bad, and just bring some relief, because over the next 5 years, it's going to be really bad if we don't. And we're set up to launch it all. It's all good to go. It's just, again, your piece is kind of my last area where I just need to get a little further, and you have that. We've already done leans, like we have people that have leaned and all of it, but for me to go out in the front and start doing it as a formal government against them, we just got to be perfect, and your process is. So, and then for all the commercial stuff and finances, ours is perfect. And that's where, again, I just see us kind of being like a legitimate form of what the UN and Chamber of Commerce for business is supposed to be, but for unincorporated rights, and in just ensuring people have a correct guide and template to follow that is no harm, right? And genuinely neutral without agenda, right? So.
Yeah, I believe this set up, and when the system is in order, it works good for the people. We have a better society.
Yes.
But right now the system, the agents are out of order.
Yeah.
And I'm there to put order back in and put the bad agents in prison.
I've called this for a long time. It's just basically a battle of administration. And it's really just using administrative process to hold them accountable for their incorrect administration. And it really is just contract law. If people understand it. And what we teach, you still keep everything in the legal system, just with all rights reserved under your society law. But then your own private trust is obviously separate and immune and self-governing and all of that. So.
Yeah, so like, I don't smoke cannabis.
Yeah.
I don't like THC.
Yeah.
But I came down to the camp. So I got involved. I did I didn't want the conventional treatment, so I tried cannabis. I cured my cancer.
Yeah, with
What
CBD and all that.
happened
Yeah.
What happened was, I ran a collective garden, and it got the deputy to come in and arrest me and give me 17 felony charges.
Gotcha.
So that was 2015, and everybody in the case, the judge, the prosecutor, the defense counsel, about 30 deputies, and I'm looking now. Yesterday I went to the banks. They seized all my bank accounts, but the managers are gone, so I believe they retired the managers of prison too.
Okay.
But what I do, the only way I can get these people in prison is if I tie the statutory court to the United States Trust, and that's what I do.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense to me. And the nice thing about a society is it's its own, just like opening a corporation. So you can do your credit and everything under your society, and they can't touch it. So the 3 letters that you fill out in mail, you take those into the bank, and they'll open up an unincorporated association or a sovereign bank account, and it's a banker's bank account. So it's immune from that system. They leave it alone.
Right now, I mean, I don't know what you're doing, but I hear what I'm saying, but I don't have the knowledge to do that. But now I'm very, very efficient at putting, the code enforcers and the
For sure. Basically, what I'm letting you know is there's 1 or 2 documents you can fill out that we have where it's just fill in the date, your name, and what you want to call your trust. And as soon as that paperwork's filled out and you send the first notice, you can bring that into a bank and they'll open a bank account for you. Lorna is doing this herself, as are some of her people. I've coached them. So as they do it, if you want to pick their brains, they can walk you through it. Or if you want me to ever help you, I can let you know. I can either just email you the forms or I can direct you to our website where you can download them. Either or. When you're ready, you just let me know. And it's a simple process. You just need you and 2 other founders, but they're silent. So you're the only signing authority to the trust. And then 3 witnesses, just because 3 witnesses is equal to a notary. So it makes it court admissible and it just completes the paperwork. So once those are filled out, then you just serve notice for the first one. You get the proof of service number, and that number plus the letter being the creation of society document allow you to open your bank account.
Okay. You were born out of France?
Sorry?
Your birthplace is France?
Well, I was born in Canada, but the Bessette, the family stems from France. But I'm also a Middleton from England, so I'm both sides of my family are part of the problem historically, but I'm fixing it.
Okay, well, what happened with me? I was born on Toulouse, France.
Lorna explained that they bonded you for 30,000, and so you're not formally a citizen. That's amazing because that's beautiful. You're way ahead of most people.
Well, my mother's British, okay, and I got the naturalization and immigrant for the United States of America. They cannot make a citizen out of me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you're French and English as well?
Pardon?
Are you French and English as well?
Well, I contacted the French consulate. When I was going through the court system, I needed a political status of the name. So I gave them, and what happened? They put at birth, they put a 100 franc stamp on the birth certificate. They gave it up.
Okay, gotcha. I was just talking heritage-wise. I just meant family.
Oh, yeah, well, my mother's British and my father is from the state of Washington.
Oh, okay, cool, very cool, nice. Not that it matters. I was just curious, just making combo.
So I'm considered stateless. Okay?
Stateless, yeah.
Citizenship.
And that's awesome. That's fantastic. I'm very proud of you for that. That's wonderful. Yeah, having a society will just allow you to do commerce and do all this stuff, and they won't be able to shut you down for it. It's nice.
Well, right now I go down to the State Bar Association. I got involved last year. Okay.
Yeah. No, you bet. And you got a bunch of attorneys thrown in jail as well, right?
Right, but in the meantime, the state of Washington, the state of Washington corporation shut down. I got it. Right now, the state of Washington, we are a federal territory right now, back in common law.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Lorna was telling me about that, and that's absolutely fantastic. And basically, through some online sites, I have access to administration that can get us everywhere globally. And what we're about to do is I have my home is my Freedom Embassy door hanger that we're about to bring to everyone's home worldwide and just leave on their front door that they put in their window, and it allows them to use our society jurisdiction to protect themselves with, where all they have to do if they're violated by any legal agent corporately is just fill out an instant report. And I already have a control officer accountability judgment with me as a judge using the last 12 years in our court of record proving that the legal system's a fraud, convicting any legal agent of already being guilty of being a fraud when they violate rights, and it sorts all the correct stuff. And we've used it in the past where we sent it and then someone finished their own liens. So it does hold up and it works. And that's our plan, basically, to flip the whole system in the next 1 to 3 years. I used to work for door-to-door companies, and the local utility here, in 6 years, we took about 60% of their business away. And we're just going to do the same thing door-to-door globally with volunteers that just drop off information on people's rights, what they can do, and then teach people how to open up their own societies. And then obviously we'll be available as an organization to assist them if they need to go after agents or that kind of stuff. And that's where your process is the teeth to everything else I do, and I need to be perfect at it. So to me, you're like the most important guy that I've met. Just know I respect the hell out of you, or the heaven out of you, and everything that you're doing. And I'm accessible to you in any way that you need. I'll have your back, and just thank you for the work you've done. Because without that, the system won't back down. And I've threatened it, and they know I have the process, but I need someone like you around me to feel comfortable doing it, because textbooks, one thing, applied knowledge is different. And anytime you're doing something for the first time, you're going to run into things. And that's where someone like you is important for your side. And same thing for me. I can help with the bank accounts, all of that. So.
Okay, right now I figured out a very easy thing in business. Anybody that's a Canadian citizen, they earn the citizenship. What I do is I actually challenge the prosecutor on the title of the birth certificate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
100%. What I do, I win 100%.
Yeah. What we've also been doing is, because it's all a form of bill and security interest, we use the banking administrative process for debt. It's the process that banks use to qualify if a bank or contract is valid or not, and not one legal agreement meets those terms. So when it doesn't, we just prove that it's a fraud, and we don't even have to argue it further than that. The stuff you argue is in depth and detail, and I need to know all of that, so I'm going to learn that from you as well. But that's the way we go about it, that for people that aren't well versed in law, it's a little simpler, and they obviously never have obligation to a fraud. And then obviously, just for some people, if they are held by the system, they can't confirm identity, so we found that's a way that they will hold people in jail regardless of if they did it or not. So we've learned the ways to hire lawyers, get them to bond you out, fire them, do it with all rights reserved. And I also succeeded in having a top defense attorney go into court on my behalf and represent me with all rights reserved under Peacemaker Society law. And the judge let me stand under my own oath on the stand. And he actually said he understood our jurisdiction. And we have the court of record for all that stuff as well that we're happy to share with you if you ever want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, perfect. Yeah, I understand exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, I know you do. I know you do. I just so you know, I am so excited to meet you. Lauren has been talking about you to me for ever since we started talking, and to me, you're the man. To me, you're like me at the next level up. I know some tricks and some sales and some commerce stuff that will make your life more comfortable too, and the trust stuff. But again, what you do is what no one has. Like, I mean, a few people have it, but so few. And I will make it easy for the world to understand as we go. And just thank you. Thank you for all your work. I know you've been doing this for a long time, and you've been suffering the price for it for a long time. The other thing is, as we teach you our society stuff, the way we set up privacy makes it the system will never know where you're at. When you set up your society, you set it up with a
I want them to know where I'm at. That's the thing about it. I am a lit fire.
I hear you. Correct me. Oh no, that's someone else. But basically, I just in a strategy sense, it's just a good idea if your enemy never knows where you lay your head at night. That's all. But if you're comfortable with it and you don't care, all good.
No, that's not my theory. The thing about the local, all that Italian, they don't know who I am.
I hear you. It's like me.
I'm gonna do not be shameless. All the
Good.
photographs of me.
Good. Do not detain list. I love it.
This is what I can do to anybody. And the goal is cases. What I found is any court case, you turn you liable for all damages.
Yeah.
To the man.
Yeah.
So what I have done is all throughout the board ordinance I have done is I have given the
Okay, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and pause here. You can go on to Rumble, and this is the video, How to Arrest Legal System with Private Sovereign Law. Robert Ritzman and Marcel talk law. So you guys can go ahead, check that out. I'm uploading a lot of good videos on here. I'll give you guys a quick little tour of the video list that we have up. It's going to take a second. So this is us joining the Wolverine clan. I've since left because they're participating in central banking, which I do not approve of, and just a few other things that need a little help. And I just find leadership needs a little more training in a few areas, but they're not ready for that yet, so that's okay. These are different staff members we've done. Music video. This is how to charge war criminals in law, what you say. And again, if we go to peacemakersociety.org, you guys just need to get your Freedom Trust. So right now we do have a sale on, but just so you guys know, we teach top experts. Oh, that's why I was on here. I wanted to show you guys. So within that, these are different people doing the Competent Air Challenge. Some videos, go along. This is Randy Shannon. She ran for US Senate. This is me coaching her like I was coaching Robert. Anyone who doubts what we're doing, we're legit. You need to educate yourself. So within that, this is the Nuremberg trials, Reiner Fulmick. This is just us reposting his video on the war crime. It's been up a week, had 3,500 hits. So we're helping get the word out. Again, coaching Randy Shannon. Keep going here. Honor, duty, and genocide. Just talking about that, how to arrest the legal system. This is the video we were just listening to. Vaccine death tolls, genocide, murder. Scroll down. This is Lorna and I talking. Her talking about how much she loves her system. This is Jackie Fig, who passed away. I want to say rest in peace to Jackie Fig. She's a freedom hero. This is a video I did coaching her. She did a almost 3-hour interview with me, and then I do another video coaching her. We helped her open up bank accounts for the things she was doing by setting up her own sovereign trust. Gave her all the stuff we had. And she died in a plane crash, which I find pretty suspect. Important people always die in plane crashes. I believe it must have been tampered with before they took off. That's speculation. I have no proof. But anyway, rest in peace, Jackie Fig. This is our live sovereign event. This is us working with 15 sovereign nations. This is kind of a scolding video. This is the only one left I have up that has any rudeness or what would be perceived as rudeness in it. But this is just so you guys understand, you need to leave what you understand behind. And like Robert was saying, just trust what I say, because you don't have enough knowledge to critique the information that we give. But it does make sense, and just use it how we teach you and it'll work. These are different videos, commercials. Again, show I did with Randy Shannon. I will be uploading more important videos as we go. YouTube, we had about 400 videos up. They got deleted. So I am as quickly as I can re-uploading. I do a few a day, but it takes a while. These are the Maximum Empowerment, Freedom and Rights twins, explaining unincorporated associations. So again, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and stop the share. Robert Ritzman, thank you for sharing your knowledge. Again, stay tuned. Check out the other video with Popoy from People of the Salmon, talking with Robert Ritzman. We introduced them. That was me who did that. And yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Get your Freedom Trust, peacemakersociety.org. We're the smartest people on the planet. In 17,000 years, no one's created a system as perfect as we have, with all the knowledge and insight, because it wasn't available before. It is now with the internet. We've proven it for 13 years. Almost 13 years. Come get yours today. Talk to you soon. Thanks. Marcel signing off. Cheers.